Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and, well, everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. That's fanatics.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Discover our collection of handcrafted candles. That's right, every product is thoughtfully created in small batches free from harmful toxins for mindful everyday indulgence. Our candles are hand-poured in coconut soy wax with natural wood wicks, offering a long-lasting burn and rich fragrances. Create a cozy, safe ambiance for your home with candles from Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers use the promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network.
Welcome to the main event here on the Inside Edge Net. We have a lot to talk about. We have Guardians All-Stars. We have LeBron Watch 2026. I can't believe I'm actually saying that. We have the World Cup. And then we also have the second biggest wedding in MSG history. We're going to talk about that because we are just the guys to break down a wedding. This is the main event here on the Inside Edge Net. I am Rob Rozycki. We have Eli Moon, no double A. He is dealing with some family stuff right now. We hope to have him back up and running this time next week because, you know what, Moon ain't going to be here. So it's either that or a whole lot of talking with me. So, yeah, this is the main event here on the Inside Edge Net. We got a Moon. I am Rob. How are we doing today, Moon?
I am good, Rob. I appreciate it. You know, happy 4th, happy belated 4th to you. I know it was a busy weekend. Luckily, the rain held off. Yesterday, I went out to the country out in Jefferson and was at my cousin's house. We got to see some crazy fireworks, man. And I'm not like the biggest firework guy. Full disclaimer. I don't like that they go off the entire month of July. Maybe they're just celebrating my birthday. You know, my birthday, July 30th. So maybe that's the reason. So if so, then thank you. But if it's not, I'm not the biggest fan. But my cousin, they have an ATF license. They set off like about hours worth of fireworks. No neighbors nearby. So we're not really harming nobody. We had a good time, man. 4th was cool. Ate some good food. Got to kick it with family. Watched a lot of World Cup today. Man, just had a pretty solid weekend. How about you?
Yeah, we had a good 4th. I had a brief appearance at the station. There was some Guardians pregame to tend to, and that was about it. But yeah, we were out here ready to go for the Menor fireworks, and that was kind of cool because last year when I was with Nikki, we were down in Hilton Head this time last year, so we didn't have any really 4th of July festivities. And this is no disrespect to Menor at all. Menor, great fireworks show. They it was claimed to be the biggest they've ever had because you know what, 250 doesn't happen all that often. But whenever, I blame Nikki. It's all Nikki's fault. She took me down to Disney, and we saw the fireworks at the Magic Kingdom. We saw the fireworks at Epcot, and after that, I mean, it like short of a amphibious invasion in southern France. I don't know if there's any explosive shows that could really do it for me anymore, but it was great out here. Yeah. We were out here with Nikki's friends. We were just chilling out for a while. And then, she tried to deal with the Mentor traffic on the way home to get the boy where he needed to go. And yeah, that was fun. But yeah, it was a good 4th weekend. It was nice and chill. And then, yeah, just chilling out today until on LeBron watch, basically, keeping an eye on things, making sure his airness does not make a move or anything along that line right now. As of right now, it's 10:06. Yep. He is still a free agent. We'll let you know, obviously, if any of that changes. But yeah, just kind of doing that all day and nice chill weekend. So yeah, we might as well get into it if we're going to bring up LeBron. But
yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's a long and short of it. LeBron James still a free agent. Still mulling it over. Reports are saying that he is going to take his time, whatever that means. So it could be 10:06 on July 5th. It could be noon on August 1st. We don't know. But we do have a little bit of video that was kind of enlightening on this, because what we didn't have with the decision back when he went to Miami, when we didn't have when he went to LA, Rich Paul, his agent and childhood friend, did not have his own podcast. Yeah. And we have a little portal now into the LeBron James decision making. I will say that, yes, I'm sure Rich Paul is smart enough to know that he is going, whatever he's going to get put out is going to get construed and misconstrued and everything like that. So I'm sure he knows this is propaganda, but still, this is the most enlightening footage we've had into LeBron's decision-making process. We'll show this courtesy of I'm not sure what is the name of the Rich Paul podcast, courtesy I think it's Rich Paul and Max Kellerman.
Rich Paul and Max Kellerman. This is courtesy of Josh Reynolds on Twitter. So yeah, let's take a look, Rob.
All right.
Philadelphia, everything changed.
Do they have his attention as Windhorst is reporting?
How could you not have the attention when you have Maxey, Edgecombe, Brown, and Embiid?
They're missing. All they really need here is a power forward who can think the game and shoot.
That's why he's in the middle. But think about it. So what is he loves Maxey. So we don't even have to talk about that. I think he helps VJ understand really how to play the game.
VJ's a baby, and he's already
super
good.
Talented, plays both ends of the floor, plays hard every night. The benefit that he gets, it would be ridiculous. Obviously, Jaylen Brown, right?
I'll tell you something else, how he would help the Sixers. Brown, when Stephen A. comes out and says, Jaylen Brown needs his own team, blah, 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 he's not picking that out of the air. He's talking to people either in Jaylen Brown's camp or Jaylen Brown. That's how the game works. If Jaylen Brown has that kind of ego, he wants to be the guy on the team. But he's joining a team with Maxey, who's at least as good as he is, in my opinion. Edgecombe, who's more pure talent, he's got them both beat. And Embiid, who when he's on the floor is better than all of them.
Embiid is health and habits.
100%.
If the health and habits of Embiid are there,
but what I mean is
really
they need a guy to come in and make that by itself doesn't necessarily work.
Right.
But if you add the right guy, LeBron James is the one guy who might be able to unlock that and get that to be a team.
Yeah, he enhances everything there. Yeah. He unlocks everything there.
Yeah, that was Game Over podcast with Max Kellerman and Rich Paul there, courtesy of The Ringer, too. That's where they're doing their stuff out of. And that is the portal, in at least a small portal, into what LeBron James is thinking. You saw the whiteboard up there. You saw all the teams, the Miami Heat, Golden State Warriors, Cleveland Cavaliers, the Philadelphia 76ers, who they were basically talking about in that segment. And then, of all people, the Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves. So that appears to be the final six.
Yeah.
With it looks like also there's some reports coming out saying, too, that Cleveland right now is the scenario to beat, quote unquote. So what are we making of this right now? Again, now 10 after 10 on July 5th. What is LeBron going to be doing, and what the hell is going on in the NBA right now?
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Some of the things that were said in the podcast. I mean, I respect Rich Paul.
It doesn't make sense. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I respect what he's done, with Clutch Sports and, getting people paid. And, he's obviously very connected with LeBron James. So, there is something to take out of it. But some of the things that were being said about when he brought up the Cavaliers about, hey, one negative is they don't have Darius Garland. Well, Rob, hold on. I'm trying to think here. Wasn't Rich Paul the same guy on this podcast, the Game Over podcast, saying that he told Darius Garland there wasn't a future in Cleveland, that, it wasn't the fit there, and they decided to move on from Darius Garland. And now it's a negative on us in Cleveland that we got rid of Darius Garland. It's just some of the things that were being said that made zero sense. I do think he was bringing up Philly in that podcast, in that clip there. And obviously, Philadelphia is going to be one of those teams that he's going to look at. If he doesn't decide to return home and have chapter 3 here, the trilogy, and finish it where it began, his NBA career here in Cleveland, then I think Philadelphia makes a ton of sense. They have Jaylen Brown, now, an addition from Boston in that big trade last week. And now you have VJ Edgecombe, they mentioned in the clip, a second-year pro going into his second year. He's very, very talented on both ends of the floor, Rob. You have that. Tyrese Maxey's really about to break through that ceiling in terms of being a top 10 player, I believe, in the NBA. And then if Joel Embiid can stay healthy, that's a big question. But Philadelphia makes sense. Some of these other teams, I don't know. I don't know, man. I keep reading all over Twitter, hey, Cleveland, why Cleveland? It's a nice storybook ending, but their roster makes no sense. And I'm just having a tough time. I know we got whooped by the Knicks. I know we did. Like, there's no other way to break it down. But the Cavaliers being, like, dismantled at this point, like, we're not a good roster, is kind of driving me crazy a little bit. It's like, how aren't we better than Miami? I know they added Giannis, but they also stripped away most of their depth to go get him. So if him and Bam don't add anybody else, good luck. And some of these other teams I'm hearing, it's like, why not Cleveland? I'm not saying LeBron coming here wins us a championship by himself, but the more and more you think about it, why would LeBron come here by himself? He has a plan, whether it's Rui Hachimura coming over from LA as well, whether it's Anthony Davis or the Wizards are reluctant to trade him. I was going to say that too. Bronny, yes. I mean, there's so many things, Rob, that Cleveland can do as well. And they already have guys that may not know what to win at an NBA championship level, but at least can get you to a point where we just need a little extra guidance, a little leadership. And why not 4-time NBA champion LeBron James?
Well, and I think what he's doing right now with taking his time on the announcement and dragging his feet on what he wants to do, I think he's increasing his leverage and negotiating power here, because we're seeing other deals happen throughout the league. And, obviously the Jaylen Brown deal, look at that. I don't know, would the Cavaliers have been going harder on that if LeBron had already picked his team and it wasn't Cleveland? It seems like the way the first few weeks of this offseason has kind of gone is that LeBron's kind of the number one option. And now the number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 options are all being picked up by somebody else who doesn't have the patience, doesn't want to wait, whatever you want to call it. Be it Giannis, be it all these other deals here. So the longer the Cavs kind of have to wait on LeBron, the more it turns into, Obi-Wan, please save us. You're our only hope. Right. He has, and that's more power for him and more leverage for that. And yeah, he can get some of those changes made to the roster. And, I don't know if it is a James Harden conundrum. I don't know if it's a situation where they're kind of looking at things going, I don't know how James Harden can coexist with LeBron, because the one thing I will give you, I understand, yeah, it's kind of like talking out of both sides of your face with Darius or not Darius.
Yeah.
But Darius for Harden, when it comes down to LeBron looking at a team, I can understand why you'd be kind of skeptical for that. I get that. But the longer this kind of plays out, and the longer this kind of keeps dragging, and the more free agents get picked up and the more guys get traded, it's sooner than later, it's going to be, the musical chairs, the music is going to stop, and we're going to be sitting there looking for a seat. And LeBron knows that. So the longer he drags his feet, the better this is going to be for him. And yeah, Philadelphia, they managed to make a big deal and improve their chances to get LeBron. So as much as I love seeing the Celtics getting absolutely screwed over, and I will never get tired of that, I wish it didn't come at the expense of something like this, because now, a week ago, Philadelphia was not a contender for LeBron, and now you just said it. You can give a great argument why LeBron would work very well in that city right now.
Yeah, exactly, Rob. And LeBron's smart, obviously. He knows what to do and play his cards right. He's watching how the Eastern Conference plays out, how these conferences shake out. Kawhi Leonard out in the Eastern Conference, back in Toronto. Jaylen Brown to a different team, staying in the Eastern Conference. So, however, there's reports of him maybe going out west at one point. He's staying in the Eastern Conference. You have guys moving to the Eastern Conference, loading up on these teams. He's trying to see who gives him the best fit. What are the Cavs going to do? What are these other teams going to do to build around him, to make it where he's in a position to go win a championship? I mean, it's more than likely going to be his final season. He's probably at the point where he doesn't really want to play around with a midseason trade or anything. He wants to walk in and have the roster that's going to be ready to make a run into June. And right now, the Cavaliers, I think, have a roster that can threaten to make a run into June. They need a piece. Whether that is moving off of Mobley as much as it pains a lot of people, or whether it is moving off of Donovan Mitchell, which we've talked about here on the show, at great length at times about, do they move off of Donovan Mitchell? I think the Cavaliers, I said it over on primetime last week, maybe cooking up a deal that's a little bit spicier than people think. I think they are still big game hunting, just not talking to the public about it. It's not getting out. There's no cracks in the the front office or anything like that. But I believe that Brian Windhorst from ESPN, he keeps saying the Cavs are talking trades. I just can't get into it because my life can't handle it right now. Why that wouldn't involve? I've said it before. It wouldn't involve Trey Murphy from New Orleans. It wouldn't involve some of these other guys, that aren't. All due respect to Trey Murphy and some of these other guys, they're not superstars. I think the Cavaliers are trying to see if they can go get a guy that maybe is more compatible and still fits the timeline of life after LeBron to make this Cavaliers roster more appealing. Or the only other option is going out and getting Anthony Davis. He's won a championship with them in LA. He is one of his better friends. LeBron has a ton of friends in the league, but Anthony Davis is one of his better ones. I think maybe that makes sense. I don't know. I think if you're the Cavaliers, you're spot on, Rob. They're waiting to kind of see what he does, but he's waiting to see what they do. It's a game of chicken. Nobody's really calling each other's bluff, and the Cavs are going to sit there and not be able to add to this roster. And I don't think LeBron James, and by himself, wins a championship.
Yeah, because two things. Like when it comes to now that the emotion over the sweep is over, and I remember, or the gentleman's sweep anyway, I remember screaming into that phone with you guys, the night that game one happened.
Yeah.
That emotion's kind of settled down. Taking all that away, the Cavaliers don't have a bad roster. They really, truly don't. They're in a pretty good situation. Again, I understand the idea of Harden and LeBron is a lot of years and not a lot of defense and a lot of dribbling. So you do kind of understand that one. But yeah, this whole war of attrition with the Cavaliers and LeBron, they want someone that'll move the needle. They want someone that'll kind of shift this thing a little bit in the right direction. And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if they're waiting, if both sides are just waiting for the other one to kind of react first, I don't think that's a good thing for the Cavaliers. I think the longer this plays out, the more of a likelihood that, someone's going to come in and swoop in with an offer he can't refuse, with maybe even a team that isn't in that 6 teams of, Magic, or if it is, the Minnesota or Denver, the 2 teams that nobody really feels has a chance in this whole thing, or if it is the Knicks, or if it is the Spurs that gets back into it or whatever. The longer this plays out, the more likelihood that's going to happen. So again, that more power to LeBron, more power to that side. LeBron has been the greatest player of this century.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about Jordan, LeBron. That's a whole different show. We're in mid-July, so I think that's probably a pretty good time for that discussion. Yeah. But he is definitely the greatest player of this generation. But he's also, when it comes down to business, the best at getting leverage, the best at being in demand, the best at being number one story headline, the needle mover in the NBA. He is very good at that, and we're seeing now the final masterclass in that whole thing with the decision, 4.0, whatever this is at this point. He is practiced. And he is doing this for the last time, and he is using all of his training.
Yeah, well, the good news is for Cleveland, though, Rob, is he's chose us before. LeBron has chose us in 2014, so we have won one of these decisions. So technically, we're 1 and 2, 1 out of 3 if you want to look at it that way. We're 33% of a chance based off other decisions.
I've already been divorced twice too. Like,
it's all how you look at it.
After 2 divorces, how many times? What's the likelihood of getting married a 3rd time?
Well, you know what? If you ask LeBron James, I don't know, because nobody talked to him. But if you talk to people around LeBron James, you see pictures out, him with Brandon Weems, the assistant general manager of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and some of his St. Vincent St. Mary teammates. He's out in Akron. He's partying over the holiday weekend here in Northeast Ohio. That's got to make you feel good. And then the reports of he's going to shoot a documentary on next season, whether it's one big long documentary or an episodic documentary. I mean, there's some smoke there. And usually when there's smoke, there's fire. Plus, again, he's been here twice. This is somewhere where he's familiar. He sees how Cleveland treats him. Even if we don't win, a lot of times, most of the Cleveland fans are still receptive of having somebody of his stature, not only for the team, but let's talk about the economy as well. Like he helps revitalize the economy. Downtown's more buzzing when the Cavaliers are playing well. It's a fact. I mean, those years, 2014 to 18, were very good for Cleveland. the team and the economy. And I think that being in our favor, him being from here, from Ohio, I think that helps. Other than that, though, there is some flaws you could look at. He's going to a team where they don't know how to win. I mean, Donovan Mitchell and James Harden got to the Eastern Conference Finals and basically said, thank you for the season. And that was it. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to do that. And then you look at some of these other teams, Jokic. He's talked about so much praise for Nikola Jokic. I think Denver is obviously a very big sleeper, but, maybe he wants to go play with him. Same reason why Golden State seems completely out of the discussion, which I think is crazy. I think there's still a liking of going to play with Steph and Draymond and those guys. I think LeBron might want to do that. There's so many things he could want to do. Does he want to win? He said that, but he also wants to be happy, and it's not about the money. Rob, I really don't know, man. I've tried, shaking what's the fortune ball or whatever, when you're trying to see what their fortune is, give me the answer, and it's even that says it doesn't know. So I couldn't tell you where LeBron's going. I would hope here in some of the smoke, like I said, some of the things I mentioned makes it to where I believe, okay, he could come back here, but he could break our hearts. That's why we just listen, Cleveland, hear me out for a minute. And I'll hand it back to you, Rob, in a second. I gotta speak to Cleveland for a moment. If you get your hopes up to here, bring them down a little bit to here, because if he breaks your heart again, it won't be as hard to you can feel it a little easier. Get through it. The reality is more than likely, if he doesn't come here, Rob, we have missed out on everything. And this team's already at a bad depth level as well, losing Keon Ellis, losing Dean Wade. So I don't know. Not good.
Yes. I mean, we'll see what happens. The only thing I can really tell you of any concrete certainty is you can tune into the Inside Edge net when any of this happens. Because who knows? He might even just freaking retire. I don't even know at this point.
Well, that would be crazy. Come on. That would be crazy.
That would be amazingly crazy. And that would just be, how can someone retire early at 41 years old? That would be awesome. But yeah, we can get into that. Obviously, any updates you'll see here. Speaking of updates too, after England scored 2 goals in the first half, Jude Bellingham, a couple of goals for the Englishmen. Mexico put a goal up also in the first half. It was on a penalty shot. Harry Kane with a goal. It is now 3-1. England over Mexico. Actually, it's 3-1 England over Mexico while England is playing a man down. They got a red card. It was actually about 6 minutes before the penalty shot was issued to England. So, yeah, they're a man down, and they're still up 2-1 over Mexico in Mexico City. Eli, I didn't realize you told me the stat that Mexico has only lost in that stadium twice. So England is now looking to be the third. And that's going to be, we'll obviously be on the air when the rest of this plays out. So actually, speaking of that, too, we're going to get into some World Cup coming back. The U.S. men's national team went to the principal's office and complained to mommy and daddy about something the teacher did, and it looks like it got reversed. We will get into probably the happiest crappy story Moon and I have talked about in the last couple of weeks here on the main event, on the Inside Edge net. Again, we got Eli Moon. I am Rob Rozycki. We got World Cup Guardian stuff. We also, 3 All-Stars, and one of them is a little surprising. But we'll get into all that too, rest of the show. Main event, Inside Edge net. I'm Rob. That's Eli. We'll be back.
Key On Sports is the leader in Ohio high school athletic coverage in written, print, and video streaming. From the latest news and results and written content to the high school football game of the week every Friday, Key On Sports has you covered. The vision of 15-time published author Vince McKee has become the most trusted site in Ohio high school athletic news. From podcasts to player profiles, Key On Sports is your one-stop for all of it. Visit them today at keyonsports.com or on YouTube at Key On Sports. Check out their socials on Twitter and Facebook as well.
Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. With over 15 flavors to choose from, you can't miss. Order Dubby Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code INSIDEEDGE10 to receive 10% off your order. Dubby Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Discover our collection of body mists made with clean, minimal ingredients. Handcrafted with natural essential oils and clean ingredients, they offer a natural alternative to synthetic fragrances. Perfect for sensitive skin and those seeking clean, mindful self-care, and the perfect gift for you or your special someone. Courtesy of Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers, use that promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Whether searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at SportsMemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and players. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the SportsMemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Go to SportsMemorabilia.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. SportsMemorabilia.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Find us on InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on your favorite shows, personalities, and network partners. Plus, guess what? We have a merch shop. That's right, we have network polos, t-shirts, champion jackets, hats, and bottles. Rep the network. Every purchase supports independent sports and entertainment media. Use the QR code on your screen right now to check out InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com. Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and, well, everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to Fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. That's Fanatics.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Small business owners are superheroes, but nowadays running your business means doing so inside your shop and on social media. That's why you should make Omega Video Marketing your sidekick.
With a decade of content creation experience, I create dynamic, informative, and fun videos for your specific social needs that will increase brand awareness, get you more followers, and keep your social pages and websites current and fresh.
I offer flexible pricing and turn times and will work with you to understand your brand and your story. All of that comes from the heart. My award-winning expertise is just the cherry on top. So let's get connected. After all, your brand is the alpha and my expertise is the omega.
Discover our collection of handcrafted candles. That's right, every product is thoughtfully created in small batches free from harmful toxins for mindful everyday indulgence. Our candles are hand-poured in coconut soy wax with natural wood wicks, offering a long-lasting burn and rich fragrances. Create a cozy, safe ambiance for your home with candles from Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers use the promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network. Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Inside Edge Network's very own Ryan Mosser and his wife Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at monstermomentsphotography.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. monstermomentsphotography.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Happy America 250. What a weekend. It was hot. It was stormy. But here we are. We're ready to rock and roll on another July summer day where we thought, one of these days we're not going to have news to report. But it's been a crazy, crazy busy July here so far, Eli.
It sure has, Double A. We still don't know where LeBron James is going. We do know where some other NBA stars are going. And I think I know where the next star may be on the move. We have to tune into the stream tonight, from this Thursday. It feels like a Friday, but rocking and rolling there, and we are excited to get the weekend started. Hopefully nothing crazy breaks while we're enjoying our 4th of July weekend, but if so, we'll be back with you rocking and have that coverage for you, main event and all week long. But yeah, just a crazy, crazy Thursday here.
You do know we have the ability, if LeBron is signed while fireworks are going, hey, welcome to Midnight Run. We're live from Lakewood.
Yes.
Choo, choo, choo. And this is going. Oh, man.
Yes.
Great stuff. We have daily programming each and every single day. We have stuff right here on the Inside Edge Network. But remember, Monday through Friday, Unfiltered at 5. Inside Edge Primetime, Eli and Chad B at 10. Autumn Chisholm has the Daily Spiral at 11. And then at midnight, it's my show, the highly educational Midnight Run right here on the Inside Edge Network. I forgot to mention Kyle Cordell with Unfiltered. He has you covered there as well at 5 o'clock. But you guys enjoy. Have a great weekend. Make sure you spend time with your loved ones. Everyone, enjoy yourselves. Have fun, recharge, and be ready to row with us here at the Inside Edge Network.
Actually, welcome back to the main event here on the Inside Edge Net. I'm Rob. This is Eli. I'm actually kind of happy that LeBron didn't announce anything during the 4th, and we didn't have to have you, me, Double A, Autumn, Kyle, Chad, everybody trying to weigh in while at their version of Fallujah. With all of the Rockets red glare and all of that kind of crap happening behind it. That would have been just audio problems throughout the wazoo.
Yeah, and I was at a spot where I definitely couldn't have been broadcasting because copyright issues, and we had a lot of licensed music going on there, Rob. So probably would have been I had to sit that one out if it was yesterday. But yeah, so we talked about it too. I know we're gonna pivot here in a moment.
That's a great way to get out of stuff. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. There's a bunch of licensed music playing behind me. I can't do anything. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Gotta get you next time. My bad. It's so funny. Real quick before we pivot, I know we're gonna talk World Cup in a little bit. Yesterday, I'm going to head out. I was out, like I said, I was out in Jefferson, kicking in the country. It was cool. Saw a lot of family members I haven't seen in a while. And right when I'm leaving, so my mom went out, my dad came out. It was a good time. And they go, oh, before you leave, and you hear, it's electric. So the electric slide starts up, and I'm like, oh, I don't know this one, guys. I gotta leave. They're like, oh, but the cha-cha slide, Rob. When I tell you, my cousins coerced me into dancing for like 15 straight minutes before I then left. And then my mom wanted to get food. Of course, you don't say no to your mom. So I went and I got her some food, got her situated. What was going to be a leaving at 11-ish turned into me leaving at midnight. And again, grateful for it all, but crazy. I did not have dancing to the cha-cha slide and the Cupid shuffle. I felt like I was back at my high school dance, breaking it down.
See, what's nice, one of the nice things about when you proceed into your 30s, later on in your 30s and into your 40s, is that you can feign injury. You can, I'm sorry, the knee ain't working. And the older you get, the less you lie about that kind of thing. The more you're actually telling the truth. So, dude, that's the whole thing. When you're at a family thing, you want to do the Irish goodbye, the Houdini, whatever you want to call it. You just poof into thin air. But yeah, when you're talking about weddings and family gatherings and picnics, and you can't really get,
Wasn't happening. I mean, my mom has taught me the long goodbye because she walked back over and I had to go back, grab her, make sure. I was like, look, I want to make sure you get in, in the car situated and all that good jazz. So yeah, Rob, I don't go out the country much, but it was cool, man.
The country. Yeah.
It was. I mean, dude, we're on the border of PA. It's a big old woods. The neighbors are nowhere in sight.
Okay, so at least you weren't in like Brunswick. Okay, that's cool. All right, I understand that for sure. But
yeah.
Yes, this is the main event here on the Inside Edge Net. We were giving a scoring update on what was happening with the World Cup. It is now 3-2 England. Mexico has added a penalty shot of their own in the 69th minute. They're about 75 minutes through this thing, so they got about 15 minutes of real time, and then who knows when it comes down to extra time. But I'm sure Mexico, they're just trying to get this thing into extra time and possibly into PKs because, I don't know, this is about the highest scoring World Cup game I've seen this deep into the tournament in a while. So who the hell knows what's going to happen. Speaking of the World Cup, the United States in action against Belgium tomorrow. What is it? It's a 9 o'clock kick, I think, is the 9 or 10 o'clock. It's a late kick.
I'm going to check right now. I know it's on the late side. Let's see.
They're in Seattle.
8 p.m. It's tomorrow, 8 p.m. in Seattle there.
Okay.
Still late. Passed by. That's like, I'm getting ready for prime time at that point, so I don't even get to watch much of it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely odd to kind of, but again, it's the West Coast, so I do get it. And what we've actually been pretty, it's been pretty cool to have the World Cup in North America, so the times have been appropriate. Like I heard actually for this match with England and Mexico, that the English pubs are they got an edict from the local government saying, hey, you can stay open till 5 a.m. local time, because if you're watching us out in England, it's about 3 o'clock in the morning right now out there. So it's almost 3 o'clock in the morning out here. Christ. But yeah. Anyway, though, they're up 3-2, 76th minute. England, Mexico in Mexico City. But with the States, we are facing Belgium coming up tomorrow. The big headline was going to be one of the better players, actually the best player for the United States, Flo Balogun. He was going to be out against Belgium because he had received a red card. And it's pretty automatic in FIFA. It's about as cut and dry in sports as you can get. If you get a red card in the World Cup, you are gone for the rest of that match, and then you are subsequently suspended for the next match.
Right.
Well, a U.S. tried to appeal the red card. They were originally denied. This was a couple of days ago. Mm-hmm. Well, FIFA comes out today saying that Balogun can play. We're going to rescind the suspension on the red card, and everybody's fine. Well, comes out a little bit later after that. The AP and ABC News confirmed reports saying that the president of the United States made a call to Archie Infantino, the president of FIFA, and said, hey, can we fix this whole travesty of justice up? Because now we're caring about the rules. And yeah, now we have this whole political influence intrigue weighing over this U.S.-Belgium match happening in now less than 24 hours. How do you feel about that? I mean, how does that change your look on this? Does it change your look on this? How do you feel about this whole it seems like, and I said in the lead of the show, it's a great result for a very shitty process. So I don't know how really to kind of get into this.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll start with Balogun because, we had Ben Bales on primetime earlier this past week, Chad and I, and he broke it down, Rob, that there's other stars, Lionel Messi included, that have got away with much worse and haven't had a red card. So I understand that the USA hasn't been a dominant force in soccer. We talked about how far they haven't got, or gotten here in the World Cup over the last, 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years, But you see some of these other stars getting away with it, and you would think, okay, well, hey, the U.S. should get some star treatment as well. Balogun's one of our best players, if not the best player on the team. It's either him or Christian Pulisic. Ben mentioned, the comparison of LeBron.
Well, Balogun's had the better tournament. He's leading the team in goals. He's having the better tournament right now than anybody on the team.
Yeah, and Ben mentioned this, Robin, to help Chad and I a little bit. He said Pulisic's more like the LeBron of the team, where you can kind of count him on every aspect. Balogun's like your Kevin Durant. Like, he's going to go out there and get a bucket for you, or in this case, get a goal for you. But he definitely had a tremendous tournament. So for him and for Team USA, it's good. First off, that you get one of your best players back right before the game. But the way it went about is kind of like, nah. I was joking with you before the show. I said, man, isn't it crazy? We have not been good at soccer in years, decades. And now the first time we start getting good again, it's like, now we're the villain already? Like, dude, we haven't even like settled in. We're not even in the final like 8 yet. Like we're the villain. Like, so I feel a little bad about that, right? Because it's like, why is it now getting to the point where political parties are getting involved, political figures and things of that nature? You know, we talked about it with the UFC 250 card for the UFC, and we talked about other things that the president's got involved in. And I'm not here to get political, but it's just kind of frustrating that this is now tied to it. Like, yeah, it's political in all aspects. All these other countries are coming out. Norway's head coaches spoke about how this is like a bad decision. I think I left out one of the bads in the quote, but just so many bads before saying decision. And it's just not good, man. It's not good. You see these other countries all kind of banding together for Belgium, saying USA shouldn't be getting away with this. It's just a bad look, man. And the fact of it all, too, and then I'll hand it back to you. The fact of it all, too, that it's Folarin Balogun, one of the best players on the team, who's a birthright citizen. And we know how the current administration has felt about immigrants and things of that nature. It's just a wild time to be a Team USA soccer fan.
I mean, yeah, it is kind of ironic. And I'm not, and believe me, I am all for birthright citizenship. I don't want to say I am not, but you can be for it and understand that, yeah, the reason why Flo Balogun is playing for the American team is the ultimate technicality out of technicalities. They were on vacation over here when mom was deemed too preggo to fly. She had the baby in New York City, and that baby ended up being the U.S. soccer hero in 26. So that's that's kind of where we're at. And yeah, it is a little funny about that. But yeah, to your point of like, yeah, we're already kind of the villain before we've won anything. Yeah, like, basketball, I understand we're the villain because we're really friggin' good. Baseball, we're the villain that, because we invented the game. Right. Okay. We don't have a reason for football. American football, we're the only, we're the villain because we're the only team, damn country that plays it. If we had a World Cup, we would beat everybody by 75 points. Yeah. It would not be close. So, yeah, like with soccer, though, yeah, we haven't won anything. And because what we are right now is the spoiled little rich kid who, is on the team because daddy made a call or, won the game because the parents had a problem with it and bitched at the umpire or the referee. Like we're now kind of the Cobra Kai, the, born on third base, silver spoon kind of thing. And yeah, it just doesn't look good right now. And it takes a little steam out, a little, wind out of my sails here for the World Cup in general. I mean, I'm still rooting for the United States. I'd like to see them go as far as they can go. I think it's a hell of a story if they can, because all of this being said, this is like the only major sport that we're still really a underdog at. Like this is, like we have hockey. We were an underdog there a couple of times now. Again, I just went over the other sports. We've never been an underdog in any of the other ones. Yeah. So yeah, having this kind of happen would be kind of cool to see, but yeah, I'm a little perturbed by the way that we're going about this right now. Hopefully they can put away Belgium, and if they can win whatever game is going to come up after that, this will just turn into another memory here. This will just kind of turn into, because yeah, if you can get Balogun back and beat Belgium, okay, you're the spoiled. But if you can beat whoever's coming up after that, then all of a sudden that might baptize a little bit of this bullshit away. But right now, it just kind of feels crappy.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're spot on, Rob. It's first off, it's frustrating. Again, you've known me for over a decade. Double A, everybody, a lot of people here on the network have known me for over a decade. And everybody knows I've never been political, right? But it's frustrating when politics or political figures are constantly involved in sports. I understand there's certain things, they're gonna invite the teams to the White House, whether they accept or decline, all that jazz. But it's like everything this year, from the UFC 250 card, from the president sitting up in the box, in the suite for the New York Knicks versus San Antonio Spurs finals game, and now
the only game they lost.
Yeah, and now the World Cup, it's just frustrating a little bit there. And my fear too is, we talk about Balogun. he's 25 years old, right? He's a young star for Team USA. It's not like he's on his last World Cup or anything. And this is
he's got one, maybe two more left. Yeah, at least.
Yeah, at least. And you see that he's really catching steam here in the States and really across the world, through the group stage and everything. Yeah, LeBron James tweeting, when he did the silencer celebration. I mean, he was one and still is. Let's not say was. He still is one of the biggest stars in this World Cup. But my fear is his reputation is going to get a little damaged. And it wasn't even his doing. Now, maybe when they came to him and said, hey, we're getting this reverse, he's like, cool. Or maybe they didn't talk to him. But, like, this is not his fault, is what I'm trying to say. He got the red card, and the red card really shouldn't be his fault either. It was an egregious call. And I've talked to my soccer peeps. We defer to our guys that know soccer a little bit better. And I've talked to them, and they said it shouldn't have been a red card. Based off on other stars get treatment, Balogun should be getting treated as a star. This shouldn't be a red card. It should have been, at worst, a yellow card. And so it shouldn't have been that. And now it's like, who knows? I don't think he asked for this. Other people went to bat from the go play, and now he's going to be the recipient of the boos when he goes into other stadiums, in the future. I just think they're going to try to turn him into a bad guy, and I think he's the furthest thing from that.
Well, I hopefully for his sake, the fact that, this World Cup predominantly is an under 30 set when it comes down. You're at the tail end of the demo that they're looking at right now. And I hope with that, I was a 13-year-old kid who was sports crazy. I didn't care about the politics then. Now, grant you, it wasn't the times we're living in now, but I don't think your average high school kid who's crazy about soccer and into this is worried about the politics behind it. So hopefully for Balogun's sake, that'll work. And I think most people are kind of understanding of the fact that it's not him. It's not, he wasn't campaigning for this. He wasn't the one petitioning. He's a player, and, any player in any sport understands what a bad call is, and you do have to deal with the consequences there. Are they crappy consequences? Yeah. But I think what this did more than anything for me was remind us the crap stuff about sports. Was the corrupt executives getting in the way, in this case, a world leader getting in the way of the host country getting in the way. The money involved, there's just the bullshit that, we talk about, I talk about a lot. And the heartbreaking thing for me is that the first, 4 or 5 weeks of this World Cup reminded us why sports was cool, why we do love sports. It was all the great things about any game. And again, we barely know a yellow card from a red card, and we were still all into this, and we were still having a good time because it was a party. It was people coming together. It was the fans speaking. And now with this decision, we are now reminded of the fact that as great as the fans are, as great as the game is itself, as great as the tournament is, it's still ran by these bastards. It's still ran by these guys. And crap.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I'm at right now with the World Cup in general. But again, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with the United States. They are in basically uncharted territory in modern eras anyway. If they can win, that'll be the first time they're in the final 8 since 1930, and there was 13 teams in general. So that was a third place finish for them. That's the best they've ever done by far. And if they can win tomorrow, that'll keep that dream alive that they can at least get down to the final 8, final 4. We'll see what happens, but it's exciting to see. It's kind of crappy that we're reminded of, the man behind the curtain controlling everything, but nonetheless, here we are.
Yeah, and my final point on this, Rob, is, first off, I agree with you where it's frustrating now that we are reminded who runs, soccer, FIFA and, everything else going on. And hopefully we can just kind of focus on the games, the matches here to end the World Cup, because it should be a riveting World Cup. I was talking to you before we got on air, the Golden Boot competition, the race to win the Golden Boot, the most goals scored in the World Cup. Right now is a 3-way tie between Argentina's Lionel Messi. You have from Norway, Erling Haaland, and then Kylian Mbappe from France. They all have 7. Harry Kane came in with 5 goals. So if he would have had
6 now.
Yeah, I mean, crazy, right? So this is a lot of fun things going on. USA, it should be a fun story. You just mentioned 1930, and not even half of the teams that they had to get to here now, right? So think about all that. It should be a cool story, and unfortunately now we're the villain, and that sucks. Coolest fact, you talked about 1930. I was watching something. I was watching Mac Jones, of all people. It was on a random, Twitter. I had to find it, but he was answering soccer questions. Did you know that in that third place finish, they didn't have a third place game? There was no third place game. They had.
I thought they were. I thought it was like a Olympic, like bronze medal scenario. Okay.
They didn't play anybody. They had no third place game set, so they just gave it to the USA. Earned third place by default, essentially based off something like some metric,
like tie break, like differential or something or whatever. Yeah, that's.
So it's crazy to think. It's crazy to think, where we're at now, and I don't know, man. It's it's frustrating. Now I will say this. My final point is USA, to your point, can make a pretty fun run here. They have, of course, Belgium tomorrow. If they can get past Belgium, they play the winner of of Portugal and Spain. So there's a chance they play one of soccer sweethearts, Cristiano Ronaldo. And though he's on the tail end of his career, he's still somebody that, soccer looks out for. Look at the game he just played against Croatia where they had the offsides call. It kind of seems a little leaning towards your stars. Again, back to the Balogun discussion. But so you maybe play Ronaldo, or if you don't, you play Spain. So Portugal or Spain. Then you have the winner of France and Morocco. So there's a chance that then you play one of the other stars of soccer, Kylian Mbappe. And then if you get past France, you're looking at potentially Norway, with Erling Haaland. You're looking at potentially Argentina with Lionel Messi. Of course, you have, some of these guys we're looking at now. Harry Kane in England. Rob, they can make us the villains because I can understand the frustration. But you know what? For once, we're decent at soccer, and I'm just going to enjoy the ride. Let's hope we beat Belgium tomorrow, and then, just develop a run so strong, to your point, that they can't really say anything. Because, sure, if we beat Belgium, maybe they're like, okay, you did it because of Balogun. But then after that, if we just go and beat everybody's ass, what's the excuse then? If we go on a run and beat Ronaldo, Mbappe, and Messi, what can be said? I don't want to hear about a game against Belgium.
And let's face it, too. As nice as it is to be the underdog and everything like that, we're used to being the villain. So I mean, we can handle that just fine.
Yeah.
But a quick update here too. They are now in extra time in Mexico City. England is still up 3-2. They're a couple minutes into extra time. I don't have the game up in front of me, but all the shot charts I'm seeing is that Mexico is making their last stand right now and doing everything they can to pepper England with as many shots on goal as possible.
Yeah.
But yes, this is the main event here on the Inside Edge Net. Actually, before we get out of here, this is the perfect analogy with the World Cup right now. Okay. I got WCW Bash at the Beach on. I got Hogan and Flair, their first ever really big time match.
Okay.
And in a nutshell, that is the World Cup, because it's a great match. If you're into it, you're just worried about what's happening in the ring. You're just worried about all that kind of stuff going down. But if you start thinking about the extra stuff, in the World Cup's case, it's all the way it's ran. But if you think about what Hogan was doing after that and what Ric Flair has kind of been now the last 10 years or so, then it puts a bad taste in your mouth. So you just try to worry about what's happening on the screen, and you just are entertained by that. And the World Cup's been doing that pretty well, as did Hogan and Flair. Hogan, by the way, congratulations, new WCW champion.
Wow. But yeah, he has a long run.
I wonder, yeah. Well, you can only check out YouTube. You can probably check it out there.
Yeah.
But this is the main event here on the Inside Edge Net. Up next, we'll talk a little baseball. We'll move from the international pastime to the national pastime. The Guardians, along with every other team, found out who the All-Stars were going to be coming up in about a week and a half in Philadelphia. The Guardians had 3 names on it. 2 of them you'd kind of expect. And then the other one left everyone kind of scratching their head in a good way. Not that that's a bad thing, but we'll get into the All-Star selections with the Guardians, where they're at right now, a little bit out of the All-Star break. They lost today against Chicago, ended up splitting their 4-game set. I believe they're still now a game back of Chicago, just as they were 4 days ago in the Central. But we'll get into all that stuff go through some news and notes, and then try to get you out of here at a reasonable hour here on the Inside Edge Net. I am Rob Rozycki. We have Eli Moon. No double A today. He is tending to matters at home. He should be back better than ever next week. And we'll have, well, actually no Moon. So, yeah, we're going to be kind of running partial cast here for the next couple of weeks on the main event on the Inside Edge Net. We'll be right back here talking baseball news and notes. We'll see you soon.
Key On Sports is the leader in Ohio high school athletic coverage in written, print, and video streaming. From the latest news and results and written content to the high school football game of the week every Friday, Key On Sports has you covered. The vision of 15-time published author Vince McKee has become the most trusted site in Ohio high school athletic news. From podcasts to player profiles, Key On Sports is your one-stop for all of it. Visit them today at keyonsports.com or on YouTube at Key On Sports. Check out their socials on Twitter and Facebook as well.
Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. With over 15 flavors to choose from, you can't miss. Order Dubby Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code InsideEdge10 to receive 10% off your order. Dubby Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Discover our collection of body mists made with clean, minimal ingredients. Handcrafted with natural essential oils and clean ingredients, they offer a natural alternative to synthetic fragrances. Perfect for sensitive skin and those seeking clean, mindful self-care, and the perfect gift for you or your special someone. Courtesy of Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers, use that promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Whether searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and players. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Go to sportsmemorabilia.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. Sportsmemorabilia.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Find us on InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on your favorite shows, personalities, and network partners. Plus, guess what? We have a merch shop. That's right, we have network polos, t-shirts, champion jackets, hats, and bottles. Rep the network. Every purchase supports independent sports and entertainment media. Use the QR code on your screen right now to check out InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com. Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and, well, everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to Fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. That's Fanatics.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Small business owners are superheroes, but nowadays running your business means doing so inside your shop and on social media. That's why you should make Omega Video Marketing your sidekick.
With a decade of content creation experience, I create dynamic, informative, and fun videos for your specific social needs that will increase brand awareness, get you more followers, and keep your social pages and websites current and fresh.
I offer flexible pricing and turn times and will work with you to understand your brand and your story. All of that comes from the heart. My award-winning expertise is just the cherry on top. So let's get connected. After all, your brand is the alpha and my expertise is the omega.
Discover our collection of handcrafted candles. That's right, every product is thoughtfully created in small batches free from harmful toxins for mindful everyday indulgence. Our candles are hand-poured in coconut soy wax with natural wood wicks, offering a long-lasting burn and rich fragrances. Create a cozy, safe ambiance for your home with candles from Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers use the promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network. Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Inside Edge Network's very own Ryan Mosser and his wife, Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. MosserMomentsPhotography.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Welcome back to the main event here on the Inside Edge Net. I am Rob Rozycki. We got Eli Moon. Thank you for being with us for the first hour. Hopefully, we will keep you only for about an hour longer than this. That is our goal. Midnight is what we're striving for. Let's see if we can do it. So how are we doing here halfway through this bad boy, Moon?
I'm doing good, man. You know, I got a chance during the break, got some lemonade. We made some lemonade over the weekend. It's summer, summer kind of drink. You need some lemonade in your life during the summer. And I got to see some of this Mexico and England here, man. And they are, you mentioned it before the break, had my head turned there just seeing, the big screen behind me. I commend Mexico. Even if they lose this game, they are making it hell for England to close them out. And, you mentioned England down by down a player for the rest of this game. And they are making it hell. I mean, are they going to get it done? I don't think so. It seems like England's going to hang on, but I give them credit. Again, we talked about, unfortunately, some of the politics getting into the World Cup and FIFA and all that jazz, but the games have been very, very fun, man. I mean, even the Norway game earlier today, taking down Brazil, the Neymar chirping at the end of the game. He kicked the penalty kick, scored on the goalie, and then got in his face in the last minute of the game. And then he retired from World Cup action after that. It just a wild end to a career, man. But, I mean, it's just cool, man. I enjoy the good stuff of the World Cup. So feeling good, man. Feeling refreshed. Like I said, got some refreshments over the break. Feeling good, man. You ready to rock?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And for those of you not watching, yes, still 3-2 in the 12th minute. It looks like it just went final according to what I'm looking at. End of regular time. It looks like if this holds, England wins 3-2 over Mexico. So the United States, as of right now, the only host team still left. Hopefully we'll keep that going for a little while longer. But while the World Cup is happening, there are other sports at play. Obviously, the NFL is currently in a slumber right now, besides an odd trade rumor here or there, or a random dash cam footage from a speeding ticket. There's not a lot of news happening right now.
Yeah.
But with baseball, on the other hand, we're about ready to hit the Midsummer Classic. Guardians in action today. They lost 7-6 to the Chicago White Sox. They lost now. They actually split that series, 4-game series against Chicago. They came in 1 game down. They're leaving 1 game down. Probably one of the better options you could have looked for if you were a Guardians fan. But overshadowing all that the last couple of days, the all-star rosters have been announced, and 3 Guardians have made it.
Yes.
Closer Cade Smith, who we can all understand. I thought he was going to be the only all-star. He's leading the league in saves as we speak. Parker Messick, who has turned into, even though he is a rookie, a de facto ace for this team, and I can understand that too. The other one, and I'm happy for him. I'm glad he's on the team. Fellow rookie Travis Bazzana will be manning second base at some point in time for the American League in Philadelphia next week for the All-Star game. I mean, I'm happy for him, but wow.
Yeah, it's I mean, first off, yes, very happy for all three of the guys. You mentioned Messick, he's become an absolute stud for the Guardians. Double A is mentioned here on our show, here on Main Event across the network about, is Parker Messick able to go from the 5 starter to the 1 starter? And he's definitely made his way to that point in terms of being the guy the Guardians can most rely on when it comes to starting pitching. I mean, again, the starting pitching rotation has been pretty damn good for the most part, but Messick's the ace. He's the dude. Cade Smith, I believe, still leading the American League in all of baseball in saves this year. So, he's doing a damn good job. He's had a few moments, but again, remember, this is his first full season as a closer. Like, from him to go from basically keeping the Guardians afloat in the bullpen last year after the Class A stuff and all that kind of looming over the team, and now this year, his first full season as a closer, leading MLB in saves, getting to the All-Star game, that's an accomplishment. Now, the Bazzana stuff. Here's so we can look at it a few different ways, Rob. First off, very happy for him. I'm very, very pleased with the development of Travis Bazzana here as a Guardian. I think we finally have a second baseman we can look at. I think we have a middle infield really to look at. I thought Brian Rocchio would get some more love in terms of all-star votes just because, again, he's at shortstop, but he's had a really damn good year, and that middle infield is looking good.
And I'll let you kind of jump back in 2 seconds. The thing with Rocchio is that he, as great as he's been for us, and he's been a Swiss Army knife, I think he's the MVP of this team in the first half of the season, and that's even with Jose under consideration. He's hitting, 260. He doesn't have 10 home runs. He's flirting, I think, with 40 RBI right now. Like, he doesn't have quite the numbers for a typical fan just kind of looking at it to be like, oh, this guy's having a kick-ass year. We need to put him on. Is he the best 9-hitter in the business? Yes, he is. Has he done everything we've asked him to do? Yeah, he has. But yeah, that's not. I wish you were right. I wish that would translate a little bit more into the All-Star love, but unfortunately, here we are.
Yeah, gone are the days of 9 Royals, I think, starting or whatever, being on the All-Star team. Remember, they've obviously switched away the percentages of what votes go to, how it makes up the All-Star voting. And so, yeah, I can understand that. But regardless, the middle infield looks good. Bazzana, a big part of that, Rob. And yes, I've read almost every tweet you can see on social media over the last 3-4 weeks when Bazzana was in somewhat of a semi-slump or whatever you want to call it. And Nick Kurtz, from the Athletics, who's been mashing the ball out there, he's been getting a lot of love and people saying, well, the Guardians messed up. They should have drafted Nick Kurtz. First off, can we chill? Can we take a deep breath? Travis Bazzana hasn't even played a full season of baseball yet, and he looks pretty good. Is he Nick Kurtz? No, they're 2 completely different ball players. Travis Bazzana gets on base. He's patient at the plate. He's going to get you walks. He's going to give you an all right defense. I'm not going to say he's a stud defensively, but you can work on that. We'll see what happens. Nick Kurtz, he is a guy that you are counting on, hey, if you got 2 on base, send it over the fence. They're 2 different players. So I think those comparisons are crazy. What it does scare me, the other point I'm going to make is it scares me for the Guardians a little bit. Here's why. We've been talking over the last couple of weeks. Are the Guardians going to stick with the farm? Are they going to stick with that? Rock with the guys, Bazzana, DeLauder, Watson, Engel is a different discussion after a week of baseball. Crazy how things turn. But are they going to stick with that, or are they going to go for a big bat? Now, Yordan Alvarez, we talked about him. I don't think so. The Astros, I think, are 2 games back of a wild card spot. And last time I checked, Alvarez, in some reports, is the front runner for MVP for the American League. I mean, that's not happening more than likely. Exactly, Rob. You're making the exact point, the money. Exactly. But,
or just how much it's going to cost. It's going to cost half the farm system, I think, for that one.
Exactly. The contract mixed with how much you're going to have to give up. I don't know. But what I will say is it scares me because now here's what the Guardians can do. The Dolans and Chernoff and Antonetti, they can all get together and go, look, dude, we got Messick and Bazzana in the All-Star game. Rookies. That's pretty cool. Like, we did it. And that's what scares me because now the Guardians are probably going to stay put. As much as I've been smashing the table saying, like, hey, this is going to happen. The Guardians are going to be big buyers at the deadline. They're going to go out and they know they have to make moves for Jose. Well, this may have actually just stopped all that talk, because they're going to look at this and go, well, Watson, and he's doing all right. Khalil Watson, he's playing well. And DeLauder is a cemented piece of the lineup, in the starting lineup here. Bazana, he's an all-star. So why would they go make a move now? And that's what upsets me a little bit. I'm happy for Bazana, happy for Messick, happy for Kate Smith. Not happy that the Guardians are going to use this for their excuse of why they did not go out and get a bat or shore up the rotation or the bullpen. Any aspect. I just want to see a move, man. Like, I don't even care at this point what it is. It'd be nice if it was a bat. I just want to see them shore up some things. I think Bybee at times is spotty. I think sometimes you need an extra pitcher in case somebody does go down. You've brought up the stat for weeks that the Guardians are the only team in Major League Baseball. Still another Sunday, here we are, and they're the only team that have five pitchers, the same five pitchers all season long. That scares me a little bit. It's an awesome stat, but is that consistent all the way to October? They got to add something, Rob. And I don't know if they will after seeing this news over the holiday weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it is weird. Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of Guardians fans are kind of self-loathing in a way, because it seems like, like every bit of good news and all the good news we've gotten since 1948 has been good news, but you haven't won a title.
Yes.
And so what it has, especially as of late with, guards ball, Dolan ball, whatever you want to call it, all the winning and all of the all-star nods, all of the postseason awards, that kind of stuff that we deal with every year, that, it's good news, but it's also positive reinforcement for this lack of spending. Mm-hmm. So it's a double-edged sword, for as good as it is for the, and we might even be facing with that with the labor negotiations. They're going to be talking about a salary cap. They're going to be talking about all this kind of stuff happening right now. And they're going to point at the Guardians and the Tampa Rays to be like, hey, guys, these guys seem to be able to function just fine in modern Major League Baseball without spending a lot of money. What's your issue? Now, what they're going to leave out of that argument is that you have to be brilliant and you have to have basically a once-in-a-generation mind running the team. And, again, that doesn't happen all that often. So, even look what happened with Tampa Bay back in the day. Andrew Friedman was the president of that team.
Right.
And everyone looked at him and said, I wonder what you would do with a budget. I wonder what you would do if you had a team that could actually spend some money. So the friggin' Dodgers hired him, and he's been the architect of that team the last few years and why they're winning World Series. So, this positive and negative, like, it's a double-edged sword. I understand why you would almost be irritated with the all-star love. It's like, what? Don't pat us on the back for this. We did this by fucking accident. It's the golfer with the beginning golfer with a hole in one. Don't congratulate me that I hit the ball exactly correctly by sheer friggin' accident.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I can understand your reticence with all of this kind of stuff with the midseason and postseason awards and 2-time managers of the year and gold gloves and silver sluggers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And, we've talked about it too, Rob, across the network, and it's like, I can't shake this feeling of frustration. And I've been very good this year. I think I've been very good. I've said a lot of good things about the Guardians. And let me be clear, I love Guardians baseball. Like, my dad raised me, Papa Moon raised me on baseball. He was my baseball coach. We would always go watch Guardians games, whether it was at the stadium or watching it at home, on the television. I love Guardians baseball, man. Like, that Cleveland baseball is like one of those core memories for me that I'll always have, like, to be able to rock with my dad and just people I've been around in my life that also appreciate Guardians baseball. So I do appreciate the Guardians. With that being said, why is it so hard? And here's my frustration. We can mark it down now on July 5th. This is my frustration point. It has reached now to where I can mention it. We keep talking about the farm, and I've heard about it, on the network, different personalities here on the network. Chad and I have talked about it. AA and I have talked about it. You and I have talked about it with AA here on Main Event. The Guardians love the farm system, and I understand. A lot of good guys have come out of here. Obviously, Messick and Bazana, the latest. We've seen for a time before he went to the New York Mets and whatever's happening there, Francisco Lindor and Jose Ramirez. And we've had good prospects that have come up and become great, whether very good or great players for the Guardians. Rob, Ernie Clements, the starting second baseman, right? Starting second baseman or shortstop for the American League. I believe shortstop for the American League.
Second baseman, yeah.
Second baseman. Okay, yeah, I always get mixed up. I know he can platoon a little bit. But
he's kind of the reason why Bazan is in there, too, because like that's how kind of weak second base is across the league, that those two guys are kind of the dudes right now.
Ernie Clement, former Guardian. You know, through the farm system, I think he played a few games up here in the bigs, possibly for the Guardians, but wasn't here very long. Ernie Clement. Now you look at Junior Caminero, who he's a starter for the American League.
Caminero is the one that I'm more irritated with. Like Clement, we traded him to Oakland for basically spare parts, and then Oakland cut him. Like, you know, so he went through the kind of the ringer with multiple teams, and like Caminero, yeah, I mean, like, you know, yeah, we traded. I don't even know that, you know, my colleagues can tell me they screamed the guy's name that they got for him, who never made the big leagues, who never did anything. So, yeah, I can understand why you're a little pissy with Caminero right now.
Caminero, you know, I understand the
Yandy Diaz is actually the starting DH in the American League.
Yandy Diaz. I mean, just all these guys, right? You know, you think about they go somewhere else, or the Guardians give up on them, move off them. So I can understand on one side, okay, they're scared to trade some of these farm guys because they're not, you know, they're not panning out here and then they pan out somewhere else. But at some point, you've also waited so long on some of these guys where I've talked about it before on the show. They don't know how to read when a prospect is either going to develop into something good or he isn't. They have waited it out. 3 different stints now with Nolan Jones. We know he's not going to be a very good Major League Baseball player. We're very clear on that. You know, they've done it multiple times with other guys. You know, Tyler Naquin had a few good stints here. You know, it just doesn't seem like the Guardians understand offensively when somebody's going to actually be a piece. Now, this year they've shocked me a little bit. DeLauder, Bazana, you know, some of these guys are coming around a little. But can we just stop acting like the farm is going to disappear if we trade a few prospects? I promise you, if we trade Ralphie Velasquez, we trade some of these guys, it's not going to be like they say, and guess what? That was your only chance of having a AAA first baseman. You must wait 5 years until you can play another. You know, the farm is going to be here, man. But you know what's not going to be here? I said it last week. I'll say it again. Jose Ramirez. He is not going to be here. Can we please show some love to Jose Ramirez? Go out and get somebody that's going to impact this offense. They need some sort of juice. I know they put up a lot of runs this weekend, but we've talked about how they're still almost dead last in some, if not most, offensive, statistics, the categories here. I'm frustrated, Rob, and I've been very good, but I know this team can go out there and really make some noise in the playoffs. They just need a little boost, a little morale boost, and that's by way of a trade. What else are you going to do? You've brought up everybody you can think of from the farm besides Ralphie Velasquez. What exactly are you going to be able to do? And if you tell me, if the Dolans come out after the trade deadline and say the same thing that I heard them say a week or two ago about, well, you know, we believe we're getting 3 trades back with Jose Ramirez, and, you know, Angel Martinez, Chase DeLauder, Rob, I will literally rip the rest of my hair out. I won't need a haircut. I will rip the rest of my hair out. I am so sick of it. And it makes me think, and I'll hand it back to you. And maybe I'm outlandish in thinking so, and I don't think they're there yet. But are the Guardians front office and the ownership starting to think about life without Jose Ramirez? Has this injury and him away from the team, are they starting to think, well, what maybe we move towards the future, and that's why we don't go out and make a trade to appease the veterans on this team because we're more so worried about the future? We talk about all the time about how they're always thinking ahead. Maybe they've already wrote off this chapter, and Jose's just around for a legacy run at this point.
Well, they're paying him either way, so I think they're going to want to factor him into what's going on. And I think if Jose ever feels like he's not being factored in, he has the right to waive that no-trade clause. And with that contract, you will have teams lining up for what's going on with that. Right. But, yeah, I'm with you. I have a feeling that this is going to go in a direction where, they're going to kind of claim these injuries as acquisitions, and it's going to be weird because Jose Ramirez is already the hometown discount guy. Yeah. Now, how can you be that guy and the midseason acquisition guy? That's kind of tough to do. But nonetheless, I think that's how the Dolans are going to spin it. Yes. But you know, as for I'd love to see. I'm with you. It's something like that. We talk about with the Cavaliers, a needle moving kind of a deal, that could help out the roster. A, because the roster needs it, the offense needs it big time. And B, we saw it happen in opposite a couple of years ago when they traded Savale away and they traded Josh Bell away, and everybody in the roster kind of felt gutted and the team was just kind of listless for the rest of the season. It was Tito's last year. Now, not for nothing, you traded Savale away for Manzardo, and you traded Josh Bell away for Khalil Watson. So that's worked out long term. But in the moment, the roster felt like the clubhouse felt like the team was quitting on them. And if they get that feeling again, I could see this season kind of falling by the wayside. Now, conversely, if they get that shot in the arm, if they get that vote of confidence from the front office saying, all right, here's a real bat, here's a real, starting arm that's going to be able to throw 7-8 innings, like Terry Skubal, even though that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But if it's something like that on that line, then they're going to be revitalized and ready to go. So we're kind of at a key point right now. And the other part is I don't know how much the pending ownership transfers is weighing into this, because it's not just the Dolans who are deciding how much this team is going to spend long term. Especially if it is long term outlook, Blitzer is going to have an idea for it, and then you throw the labor stoppage in there that could be happening. So I think the water might be very choppy and very hard to navigate. So I could see the Guardians just keeping the ship in the harbor and not trying to deal with that journey. So we'll see what happens, but I think you would agree. I would be pleasantly surprised if the Guardians do anything at the deadline.
I would be surprised. I definitely agree with you. I will say this. My final point too, Rob, you brought up, we both brought up about a needle mover, somebody that could really impact this locker room. It's on my Guardians trade deadline wish list. It's not going to happen. And I've already come to reality. But I know he's 34 and he's owed $18 million this year, and I believe about around the same, maybe $1 million higher in the next 2 years. But Wilson Contreras, the first baseman for the Boston Red Sox, I know he's been in the news because he's obviously fighting, Washington Nationals. I believe Kate Cavalli, which Cavalli was out of line. Let's just be clear in that whole thing. And Contreras has been going through a lot. I think he's in a spot right now where Boston sucks. Let's be honest. They have no coaching staff that was there to start the season. They've completely gutted the house, and the front office. So if you're Wilson Contreras, you were sold on broken dreams in Boston. He is not there with the same plan that was established when he got there. And now it's like, okay, maybe like the Guardians are a contender. I'm going to tell you this. A contender is going to go out and get Wilson Contreras. I don't think he finishes in Boston this season. I think somebody's going to go out and grab him and say, we need a little bit of a spark in the locker room. Is he going to be consistent all the time? We'll see. But at least he's got the passion. And sometimes passion carries you a long way. That'd be somebody perfect for the Guardians. I just think, unfortunately, the price tag is too high. But imagine him at first, Rob, and then you move Hoskins out to left field. You send Cooper Ingle back down because he's not sure what to do with the baseball. He's not sure if he should catch it. He's not sure when he catches it, if he throws it into the stands. I don't know, bud. But Wilson Contreras, it intrigues me.
Well, you bring up another point too with a contender picking him up no matter what's going to happen. The Guardians are going to have to deal with that too. You got the White Sox. We just talked about it. They're actually in first place right now. They're a game up on the Guards. They're by all accounts ahead of schedule. So they might feel like they're playing on borrowed time right now, and they can just make a move. Right. The Twins are 4 games out of the division at this point. Like that, I know it's the Twins. I know we like to make fun of them. But at the same time, that 4 games is 4 games.
Yeah.
Detroit, 5 games out of a wild card spot right now. They're again, we can make fun of them, but that's how bottled up this American League is. The Guardians are not going to be the only American League Central team making a move or looking to make a move. That's my point. So if they look to see if Chicago picks, Yordan up, if Detroit picks up, Contreras out in Boston up, that's going to push the Guardians, I would think, to have to do something. And I don't know if they want to be the one to make the last move or the one to push everybody else to start making moves. I don't know really how the psychology of that's going to line up over the next month or so, because the trade deadline, I believe, is less than a month away. I believe it's August 3rd this year. Yeah. So we're coming down to it. And the Guardians, if they don't make a move, if they don't get one of these guys, somebody else in this division or in the American League period will. And we're playing that game with the Cavaliers right now. If you stand pat, that's great. Hey, you know what you got. But if everybody else is kind of getting arms and weaponizing and getting all their forces together while you're just kind of sitting here not doing anything, you're worse just out of just, by de facto at that point. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting next 3.5, 4 weeks for the Guardians.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, man. And, hopefully they're listening. Maybe they're listening tonight and they hear us and they're good. You know what? We got you guys. We're going to go out and trade for a bat tomorrow morning. But the odds are they're probably going to stay put. That worries me. And it's going to worry a lot of Cleveland fans, Rob, because, again, Jose Ramirez is nearing the end of his career. I'm not saying it's over next year or the year after, but he's nearing the end of his career. And
he's on the back nine now. He's closer to the end than the beginning.
And a lot of Guardians fans are going to be frustrated if they come up empty throughout his whole career, because that's loyalty to a T, and they weren't loyal to him if they don't go out and try to add to this roster. Because, again, a labor lockout, they're going to strike, next year more than likely. And that means no baseball, but Jose does turn a year older. Birthdays don't stop just because Major League Baseball isn't playing. He's going to get older. And a lot of people are going to be frustrated, Rob, if they don't end up with a championship or at least get back to the World Series and give Jose at least one more chance to go win it in his career. It's going to turn a lot of people off in Cleveland to Guardians baseball for a minute. There might be a angst or frustration towards this franchise, this organization, if they don't respect one of their greatest players in, if not just the 2000s, in franchise history.
Well, he's the leader in games played right now. I mean, if everything kind of holds the way it is, he's already leading in or top 3 in hits, home runs, doubles, pretty much every offensive statistic imaginable. I think he's second in stolen bases behind Kenny Lofton. So, yeah, I mean, he's up there for sure. And, yeah, I mean, I don't think the Guardians want to put him on the long list of Cleveland athletes who were beloved in this town and never really won anything. So, yeah, they definitely have to move it for sure. By the way, update, you know how much they love Tyler Naquin? He was in the Guardians organization last year.
Oh, as a pitcher.
As a reliever. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's how much. Give it a try. It's fine. Guards ball. Yeah. So, but I think he's a free agent right now. But, yeah, we can put him in the bullpen as a reliever / pinch runner. See how that works out.
Sounds great. Yeah.
Actually, that wouldn't actually be a bad skill set. But yeah, this is the main event here on the Inside Edge Net. Rob Rozycki, Eli Moon. We'll have some news and notes coming up next. Again, we have the second biggest wedding in MSG history happening this weekend. I thought that's where Double A was, actually. He wasn't on the air on Friday, and I haven't seen him since, so I don't know. Was he was he helping out Adam Sandler? I don't know. We'll see what, The one nice thing, if Double A ever officiates a wedding, you will not have to put a microphone on them. Everybody in the room will be able to hear what's happening just fine. Yeah. But yes, as you can see, no Double A. Actually, in all seriousness, he's tending with some family stuff. He'll be back next week. Right now, it's me and Moon running the ship for at least another segment or two. We'll try to get you out of here in the next half hour or so. This is the main event on the Inside Edge Net. Again, news and notes, and then what we've learned, and then we'll get you out of here on the Inside Edge Net. Again, I'm Rob. Eli, we'll be back.
Key On Sports is the leader in Ohio high school athletic coverage in written, print, and video streaming. From the latest news and results and written content to the high school football game of the week every Friday, Key On Sports has you covered. The vision of 15-time published author Vince McKee has become the most trusted site in Ohio high school athletic news. From podcasts to player profiles, Key On Sports is your one-stop for all of it. Visit them today at keyonsports.com or on YouTube at Key On Sports. Check out their socials on Twitter and Facebook as well.
Clean energy, bold flavors, and no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Whether you're starting your workday or getting ready to exercise, Dubby Energy helps you lock in and focus. With over 15 flavors to choose from, you can't miss. Order Dubby Energy right now by using the QR code on your screen and use the promo code INSIDEEDGE10 to receive 10% off your order. Dubby Energy, your energy-focused sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Discover our collection of body mists made with clean, minimal ingredients. Handcrafted with natural essential oils and clean ingredients, they offer a natural alternative to synthetic fragrances. Perfect for sensitive skin and those seeking clean, mindful self-care, and the perfect gift for you or your special someone. Courtesy of Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers, use that promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Whether searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at SportsMemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and players. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the SportsMemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Go to SportsMemorabilia.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. SportsMemorabilia.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network, Cleveland's digital leader. Find us on InsideEdgeNetwork.com for the latest information on your favorite shows, personalities, and network partners. Plus, guess what? We have a merch shop. That's right, we have network polos, t-shirts, champion jackets, hats, and bottles. Rep the network. Every purchase supports independent sports and entertainment media. Use the QR code on your screen right now to check out InsideEdgeNetwork.com. That's InsideEdgeNetwork.com. Fanatics isn't just our name, it's who we are. Loyal, passionate fans dedicated to our favorite teams and to the sports we love. That's why we're honored to be able to offer fans the world's largest collection of official sports apparel and sports jerseys from all leagues, teams, and players you love. We feature a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, and NCAA merchandise, which allows us to serve fans of football, baseball, hockey, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, golf, and, well, everything else that gets your heart pumping. Go to Fanatics.com by using the QR code on your screen right now to celebrate your teams. That's Fanatics.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Small business owners are superheroes, but nowadays running your business means doing so inside your shop and on social media. That's why you should make Omega Video Marketing your sidekick.
With a decade of content creation experience, I create dynamic, informative, and fun videos for your specific social needs that will increase brand awareness, get you more followers, and keep your social pages and websites current and fresh.
I offer flexible pricing and turn times and will work with you to understand your brand and your story. All of that comes from the heart. My award-winning expertise is just the cherry on top. So let's get connected. After all, your brand is the alpha and my expertise is the omega.
Discover our collection of handcrafted candles. That's right, every product is thoughtfully created in small batches free from harmful toxins for mindful everyday indulgence. Our candles are hand-poured in coconut soy wax with natural wood wicks, offering a long-lasting burn and rich fragrances. Create a cozy, safe ambiance for your home with candles from Alley Rose Fragrances. First-time customers use the promo code InsideEdge20 to receive 20% off your order. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Podcast Network. Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Inside Edge Network's very own Ryan Mosser and his wife Hallie. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com by using the QR code on your screen right now. MosserMomentsPhotography.com, a proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network, Cleveland's digital leader.
Happy America 250. What a weekend. It was hot. It was stormy. But here we are. We're ready to rock and roll on another July summer day where we thought, one of these days we're not going to have news to report. But it's been a crazy, crazy busy July here so far, Eli.
It sure has, Double A. We still don't know where LeBron James is going. We do know where some other NBA stars are going. And I think I know where the next star may be on the move. We have to tune into the stream tonight, from this Thursday. It feels like a Friday, but rocking and rolling there, and we are excited to get the weekend started. Hopefully nothing crazy breaks while we're enjoying our 4th of July weekend, but if so, we'll be back with you rocking and have that coverage for you, main event and all week long. But yeah, just a crazy, crazy Thursday here.
You do know we have the ability, if LeBron is signed while fireworks are going, hey, welcome to Midnight Run. We're live from Lakewood.
Yes.
Choo, choo, choo. And this is going. Oh, man.
Yes.
Great stuff. We have daily programming each and every single day. We have stuff right here on the Inside Edge Network. But remember, Monday through Friday, unfiltered at 5. Inside Edge Primetime, Eli and Chad B at 10. Autumn Chisholm has the Daily Spiral at 11. And then at midnight, it's my show, the highly educational Midnight Run, right here on the Inside Edge Network. I forgot to mention Kyle Cordell with Unfiltered. He has you covered there as well at 5 o'clock. But you guys enjoy. Have a great weekend. Make sure you spend time with your loved ones. Everyone, enjoy yourselves. Have fun, recharge, and be ready to row with us here at the Inside Edge Network.
All righty, this is the main event here on the Inside Edge Net. We are winding down. We are in the back nine ourselves of this radio program. A little news and notes to kick this thing off with. I'm Rob Rozycki. We got Eli Moon. No Double A. He is tending to family business. He'll be back in a couple of days. Well, I know he wants to be back in a couple of days. I think we might kind of force him to be out for a couple more. But nonetheless, news and notes. Not since, I guess we'll start with the story of stories here. Not since SummerSlam 1991 has MSG seen nuptials on this kind of level. Not since Randy Macho Man Savage married Miss Elizabeth in that magic summer where I turned 9 years old. Not since then have we seen a wedding quite like Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Not that we've really seen any of it. We've seen a couple of still pictures. Travis Kelce with a very suburban dad-esque haircut. That's all I've really seen. But yeah, apparently Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce have tied the knot. They are now spoken for. Do you have any reaction, Moon?
Well, my first reaction is at least they had Adam Sandler officiate it. That's pretty cool. So I mean, it seems like I saw, social media is hilarious sometimes. And I saw somebody say, well, it seems like Travis Kelce at least got one say in all of this. Adam Sandler got to officiate it. I don't know, Rob. It was a little weird. I'm not going to lie. Them shutting down, I think, multiple blocks around Madison Square Garden for the fourth time in a month. Like those poor people that have to work around that area, getting the traffic already is a pain in the ass in New York City. Getting through traffic do New York City is a pain in the ass. Now you have to go through blocked off. No. But I thought it was a little funny too when I saw Mike Vrabel. I guess funny is the word. A lot of things just around the wedding is what I saw. Mike Vrabel and his wife walking to the limo or whatever, and he opened the door, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna be a gentleman. He's gonna let his wife get in the car, and nope, Big Mike just jumps in and he gets situated. His wife has to pull up her dress behind her and get in there. It was bad. It was all bad. It's like, how bad does she want to be at the wedding? How are they? I don't think we're allowed to ask how they are. But just things going on, just seeing all that for the sake of the wedding. I have seen, I think, bits and pieces through somebody who videoed it. I don't know how long they will have that video up. And that person may not even have a social media.
Cease and desist orders, I'm sure, are being filed right now.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. It was interesting, I guess, to say the least. I'm happy for Travis. If he's happy, cool. He's a Cleveland guy. So if this is what makes him happy, then, cool, man. But other than that, I don't got much. I mean, two millionaires Taylor's like probably almost close to a billionaire at this point.
She is. She's straight up billionaire.
Okay, yeah. It's like they got married. Like, congratulations. Hopefully, they made sure they got all their things in order where, if nobody's taking anybody to the court in a few years, or no sad love songs. It just, goodness, I don't know, man. Rich people got married this weekend. Happy America birthday. I don't know.
Well, from what I understand, you talk about, if this doesn't work out long term, the prenup is 40 pages long.
Oof. 40?
I'm reasonably sure the prenup for Travis Kelce's wedding was longer than the contract he signed to play with the Kansas City Chiefs, with all of the union crap, with all of the labor laws and everything involved, all the legalese. I don't think Travis Kelce's playing contract is 40 pages long.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like, at some point in time, he's got to look at her like, okay, I'll give you whatever you want as long as we have it in writing. If we do break up, it's not going to be a number one Billboard topping single. Just make sure that I don't see some sort of Independence Day album coming up in just a few years after we break up. No. Like,
yeah, I mean, he's done enough, Rob. He's showed his dedication to her. He went out and he was like one of the members of her dance team, or reenacted one of the scenes for one of her songs on like one of her last tours. Like, he's invested, hopefully she treats Travis right. Speaking as a Clevelander, hopefully she treats Travis right. We're team Travis Kelce over here. So, hopefully she knows what she got with our guy, Travis Kelce. I don't know, man. That's all I got for you. I hope it, like, to your point, I hope this isn't like 2-3 years from now. Again, I keep referencing social media. I cannot remember who put it out there. But it was somebody on Twitter, Rob said, maybe Taylor and Travis got married on July 4th. So if they ever were to get split, she can, call her next album Independence Day. And at that point, I turned my phone off. I got lunch.
Like, everything I've ever learned about this wedding and this relationship in general has been against my will. Like, I never seek this information out. I just open a phone up. I open a web browser up. I turn on the TV, and there it is in front of my face, because Travis Kelce is an athlete. We know what he does, and that's enough to kind of trigger my sports algorithms to just, no, I'm just now, I guess the Swifties out there will be looking to see when if there's going to be a addition to the family coming up soon. I think that'll be now the new watch for the Swiftie fandom in general, and that I'm sure will be covered much like the royal baby being born. So yeah, that'll be great.
I don't understand. I gotta be very careful on what I'm about to say, because we are live on YouTube, X, Facebook. We're everywhere. And if
are you scared of the Swifties?
I'm not scared, but I just know they're feisty. And I guess I'll be real. It's like I don't know. I don't understand where Taylor Swift became the number one like artist, like fandom. Like, it kind of boggles my mind a little bit. She's got great music. Don't get me wrong. I like the song Lover. It's a newer one. I like that one. It's got a good tune to it. I like some of her older stuff. I like their country stuff, to be honest. I like, Our Song and Teardrops on My Guitar. Like, I jam some old school T Swift. Just now is just so pop centric. And this is coming from somebody who's in music, and is around a ton of different sounding music. I think she's great. I just don't understand like the Michael Jackson-esque like fandom over her. I don't know. I don't know. I may have just pissed off everybody online.
No, I mean, like, and I'll hop on that bandwagon with you. It's she's a little bit like the Knicks right now, the other tenant of Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
I like the team. They're fun to watch. They're deserving of my respect from a talent level. They're good. It's just the fans that annoy the living crap out of me. It's the people around it, the people talking about how great they are all the time. And much like the Knicks, yes, Taylor Swift is great, but she's not, okay, if the Knicks go out and win another title next year or two more after that, then okay, then we could start talking about that kind of stuff. But right now, you're the 8th individual champion in 8 years. Let's okay, we're happy for you, but chill out. So yeah, the fans are more nauseating for me than the actual product. But yes.
Agreed.
Speaking of that, let's move on from this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
This is news and notes here on the main event, Inside Edge Net. Let's see. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more of a manly story here. It looks like, and you brought this to my attention because, quite honestly, I'll like much like soccer, I'm not really into it. Apparently, Conor McGregor is fighting again next week. And how old is he? 50?
He's not. He is not 50. He is 37. He'll be 38 3 days after this fight, Rob. July 14th is his birthday. He fights July 11th against Max Holloway. And for those that, don't follow MMA, that's okay. He's fighting Max Holloway. This is a rematch, essentially, of where, years ago, and Max Holloway, they talked about, hey, are you going to finally be able to get the Conor McGregor win under your belt? Now, for those that don't know, Max Holloway's been in the game for a long time, too. He's 34 years old. He's not much behind Conor McGregor. He's somebody that is well respected when it comes to one of the better fighters, if not one of the greats of the 2000s and 2010s, 2020s. But he's also somebody that has a few things he hasn't accomplished. He hasn't got to the Conor win, the big marquee win. Again, he's been a champion, all that, but for the mainstream breakthrough, he's never been able to do that. Now, for him, this is pretty personal because, again, he lost in a decision, 3 rounds, unanimous against Conor way back, and I'm looking for the exact date here, August 17th, 2013. Okay, that was 13 years ago. So he's been waiting on this for a while. So that's why there's a lot of interest in this fight. The fact that for Conor, he's coming back, he had the injuries and the letdowns and then all the legal stuff and then everything else. And he kind of stepped away from MMA. And then you have Max, who's really kept his head down, done his thing. Like I said, has lifted gold in the UFC. He's done his thing. He just hasn't had that mainstream breakdown. That's the big selling point for the fight. You can like Conor McGregor. You don't have to like Conor McGregor. I can understand why you wouldn't like Conor McGregor. But he is somebody that his last fight was July 10th, 2021. He was going to fight against Chandler. He hurts his toe. He's not able to fight in that fight. So now we've been waiting 5 years from the return. This is something that can rejuvenate MMA a little bit. Whether you like him, whether you don't, Rob, I believe that this is a reason a lot of people that are casuals will tune in. We talk all the time. And when we do talk MMA on main event, is there's not a selling point for the UFC. And if there is, it's a lot of times somebody that's a bad guy. Now, Conor, he's got his mixed stuff. I get that. Like, he's got mixed reaction. He's done some questionable things. But he's somebody that's still beloved by a ton of the fan base. He does show love to certain, people in communities and all the things. Again, he has his flaws. Nobody's perfect. But I think he's somebody that a lot of the UFC fans rock with, will draw casual fans there. And it could be a revitalization for the UFC after right now, popularity is at an all-time low because there isn't enough stars to cling to. You're one of your best stars if the UFC just got worked at the White House card with Ilya Taporia getting beat by Justin Gaethje. So you need Conor McGregor right now because boxing's on a rise. The Mason brothers from Cleveland and Tiger Johnson from Cleveland, they all kicked ass on yesterday. Boxing could really take over MMA again and become the face of combat sports. So this is big for the UFC, whether you like him or not. He's going to give a little spark back to the MMA world.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with anything you're saying about, McGregor bringing in the casuals and, bringing some eyeballs to the whole thing, especially after a 5-year wait. Great man once said, how can I miss you if you don't go away? Right. But I think the bigger issue for MMA is that they are in that spot. They don't have any other folks who are, current, practicing fighters. McGregor's not going to resume a normal schedule fighting every 4 months, 5 months. He's not going to be that. They're going to bring him out for special attractions. They're going to bring him out for big deals. Like, that's what it's going to be. MMA doesn't, and this is a UFC fight, correct? This is a UFC Dana. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Like the fact that they don't have a lot of others, like I've heard of Max Holloway, so that's good. Yep. But the fact that there's not a lot of new guys that are coming up that are on that level of a McGregor or Chuck Liddell or, any of the big, Rampage Jackson, like there's nobody. Well, actually Rampage is there's no current fighter who's kind of fighting that normal schedule who's going to be taking a break to go film the A-Team or be on, Conor was in a couple of movies. So there's nobody on that level right now. And yeah, if I'm Dana White and I'm trying to figure out a way to market this sport with all these big TV deals now on the line, then yeah, you McGregor's great, but you need to use McGregor in a way to build somebody up on that undercard and, let some attention be paid to some of these younger fighters who could be more marketable for the long term. But it's great that, he's kind of getting back, but it's not going to be hey, MMA is fine from here on out. UFC is going to be, it'll be a nice shot in the arm, but we'll see what happens the card after
Absolutely.
that. But
yeah, they got to capitalize on it, Rob. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I got a few final points here just on this. One, you bring up the point about, UFC and different MMA promotions, and can the UFC take advantage of this? The other thing to keep an eye on is, another promotion, MVP Promotions, Jake Paul, those guys, Netflix. They're going to look to do this. I keep bringing it up from time to time. They're going to look to do this Francis Ngannou and John Jones fight. John Jones is actively trying to get out of his UFC contract per reports. So he's going to try to fight Francis Ngannou. It's going to be a crazy big heavyweight fight. The fact that Netflix and MVP Promotions are going to get that possibly, that's insane. It's something that MMA fans want to see. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Netflix's most viewed event. And I know that's saying a lot. They have a lot of stuff on there, but I'm telling you, Rob, that will bring in MMA fans, casual fans, boxing fans, because Ngannou's done a few boxing matches against some of the greats, heavyweight greats right now. So that could be big. But we'll see what the UFC does. They do have some guys that they can kind of rise to the occasion, get them into more of a marketable spot. They're in a tough spot because of these other promotions, but they have the capability. They are still the standard for MMA. The McGregor thing's interesting. My final point on this is, yes, UFC 329, he fights Max Holloway. This is a big fight for both of them to put him back into welterweight title discussion. Of course, there's some other worthy opponents, but Conor has a tie here. If he wins against Max Holloway at UFC 329 this upcoming Saturday, he will probably be catapulted to either a number one contender fight, just it is what it is because he's Conor McGregor, or he's going to be put into the title shot. The welterweight champion right now is Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev, he is a beast. He is very, very talented. First off, I believe, I'm just double checking here. Right now, he trains at American Kickboxing Academy. Now, that's Javier Mendez. Okay, that's great. Now, here's the kicker. Who also trains at American Kickboxing Academy, who's a coach now at this point? Habib Nurmagomedov, who is one of Conor's biggest rivals. They had the bus incident where Conor was, Habib's team, I believe, was throwing the chairs through the van and all the crazies, or the bus, crazy stuff. All of that ties together because now Habib's the coach for Islam Makhachev. He's somebody that you can stir it up. You can have that battle. And if you have Conor go fight, there is a way for the UFC to capitalize on this for the next, because of how fights go and you have that recovery time because of medical suspensions and things like that. This could stretch into next summer where we're looking at Conor fighting Islam if he fights one more time before that. There's a few other very worthy welterweight contenders. I'm just saying there's a lane here, and the UFC could find a way to revitalize themselves if they play their cards right. And of course, it comes down to who wins in the cage. And if Conor can take care of his business, the UFC is going to look out for their moneymaker.
Is it the fighter's last name is Islam?
His first name. His name is Islam Makhachev.
And no. That would be the worst fight for MAGA ever. McGregor versus Islam. Oh my God. That's no, I don't want to see what the repercussions of that's going to be.
And the crazy thing is, and sorry, one more point is this is the best spot for Conor McGregor to be in. Again, just because he's in a welterweight spot, Rob. If he was fighting where he typically would fight at, when he came in, he was a featherweight. You got Volkanovski there, Diego Lopez. You got Aljamain Sterling still in the mix. Arnold Allen. There's some talented guys. You go even to, where he was at lightweight. Gaethje's the champion right now. Ilya Topuria is still nothing to mess with. Arman's there. You got Charles Oliveira. Obviously, Holloway typically fights at lightweight, but he's coming up to fight Conor. So this is actually the perfect scenario for Conor McGregor. You just kick ass against Max Holloway. You might have to fight one more, or you might just get catapulted to fight the champ, Makhachev. You got your little battle against Habib. He's a coach now, and I don't know, man. I think I disagree with you a little bit. I think he's going to run a normal schedule. This is the last run. If he stays out of trouble and he wins, then I think we'll see him for the next 2 or 3 years. Yeah, a lot of ifs, and we don't like to live on ifs, but that's where we're at right now with Conor McGregor.
We do have a message from our third stooge in this equation here. I am from Anthony in Bedford here. I am so happy I am not a part of the Taylor Swift conversation. LOL SMH, and that is because Anthony, you're not a pussy, or you are a pussy. That's the issue. Because AA me and Eli are not afraid to put our heads in the lion's mouth. And am I calling you a pussy on the air knowing full well that you're technically my boss? Yes. Does it make it any worse? No, I'm sure whatever here, but yeah, Double A constantly afraid of the controversial subjects here on the main event. He'll just talk about, Trump and Iraq and all the low button stuff. This is the stuff that we really, really have to keep an eye on.
Dude, I mean, he's too busy talking about bacon wrapped honey buns, and he had the peanut butter iced honey bun sandwich, and oh, damn, I'm getting hungry. Bro.
Oh yeah, let's. Oh yeah, because I'm sure with him being out the next few days, the one time he's going to try to get on the air is going to be any Love Island discussion. That's going to be what he's going to try to jump on for beyond anything else. So we all know that.
Yeah.
But yes, main event, Inside Edge Net, Eli Moon, Rob Rozycki, no Double A. He is currently a spectator right now. A couple more news and notes here. We'll try to get through these real quick here. Apparently, Joey Chestnut sucked down 60 or 67 hot dogs in 10 minutes. Is that how we're celebrating American independence nowadays?
He was getting down, Rob. He was getting down. At one point, he had 20 hot dogs in 2 minutes. Me and Pops were sitting here watching, and Papa Moon's like, dude, he's going to break history. He's going to break history. He is at 10 dogs a minute. I mean, that's an incredible pace. I don't know if it's concerning. I mean, more probably is, but it was an incredible pace. If you're a fan of the hot dog eating competition, it's a staple at Coney Island. We're sitting here watching. And to think, the women's winner, and I got to look her up. I want to give her credit, but she had, I believe, 26.
You're an ally.
Yeah. 26 hot dogs. I'm just double checking here, Rob. Bear with me 1 second. Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Miki Sudo, she won her 12th title. She had 38.75 hot dogs consumed in 10 minutes. Joey Chestnut had 67. I mean, bro, first off, kudos to him. 18th in a row. He now surpasses John Cena for the most titles and individual athletes. I mean, just incredible. But the other big thing is, how does ESPN keep getting away with airing this for so many years? It's like the most disgusting thing you could watch. Like from the buns just all over their face and the water dripping down. And then every now and then, like they have other competitions, Rob, the lemonade chug or whatever. And somebody puked just all over almost near the crowd. I mean, like, how are they getting away with this? Like this,
I don't know. It should be TVMA. It really should be. It's really close to like stuff that should be on HBO at like 1 o'clock in the morning. Here's a controversial take.
Oh no. Okay.
Joey Chestnut should retire. This was not even top 10 in the totals that he's had over his illustrious career.
Yeah.
And that kind of proves the other point too that I want to bring up, and maybe why that might be time to walk away. The motherfucker just dropped 67 hot dogs in 10 minutes. That's like 14,000 calories. That's like multiple times, like hundreds of times the amount of sodium that you should have in a week, let alone a day, let alone 10 minutes. He put down 67 dogs in 10 minutes, and you're saying he let you down. You're saying he actually fell short of expectations. Right now, he's like, the wooden UCLA Bruins in the 1960s, like, oh, you lost once in 82 games, cut him, get him out of here. Like the bar is just so high. Now, maybe, I don't know what the money is in competitive eating. Maybe it still might be an income-based kind of situation. But, bro, he is literally at a point that he could put down 70 hot dogs in 10 minutes, and everyone's going to be like, oh, that was great. 5 years ago, you were 10 times better than that shithead.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little lackluster. I can't lie to you. I mean,
how can I miss you if you don't go away?
That's what I'm saying. He
did miss 24.
Right. But the 4-minute mark, left in the hot dog eating competition, I looked at Pops and I'm like, dude, this just isn't Joey Chestnut at all like that, man. Like, he slowed down. I mean, he lost like 3 dogs per minute, but near the end of the competition, I mean, just that it was disappointing. He didn't even get the thread in the 76 hot dog. You knew at the halfway point, he knew he had it in the bag. You kind of see him coasting, and it's like, if you're not going to give the respect to the game anymore, you're just in it for the, the fame. then maybe give it to somebody else, man. You know what? There's other guys that are hungry for it. Go out, literally hungry for it. Go out and let them get it. But no, kudos to Joey Chestnut, 18th in a row, or not in a row, but 18th title, and that's pretty cool, man. But yeah, Rob, he may be slowing down. His stomach may finally be like, hey, we can't keep doing this, man. We gotta stop. We gotta call it quits. So.
Well, and to tell you though, in all due respect, we'll be a little bit of a devil's advocate here for Chestnut before we move on here. He won with 67. Number 2 was 51. So like he's still blowing he's still like the Wilt Chamberlain to the NBA right now of competitive eating. But yeah, he's just at a point where he just can't make anybody happy.
But maybe
what's up?
Real quick, Rob. Maybe he needs a rival then. He's had Kobayashi and he pushed him to higher heights. He had Matt Stoney for a minute, was pushing the higher heights. Guys have come around for a little bit and pushed him. Right now,
he's like Tiger Woods.
Rival. Yeah,
he's like Tiger. That was the thing that you could always kind of criticize about Tiger's dominance, was he never kind of had a consistent rival. Was it VJ? Was it Phil Mickelson? You had a bunch of, David Duval was in there, Ernie Els, all that kind of stuff, but it was never kind of one guy. There was no Jack to Arnie and same kind of with Joey Chestnut. Yeah. But moving on here, this is News and Notes main event here inside EdgeNet. We shot the whole midnight thing to hell and back.
We're doing all right.
Last story here in this whole schmaz, I guess. We'll save actually the rule change in the NBA for next week. I know it's going to be kind of an older story, but this just happened today. If you look at a box score, just kind of at the outset, you see that the Miami Marlins, they defeated the Las Vegas Athletics of Sacramento 9-8, and that doesn't tell nearly the story. There was a little bit of drama happening with the Marlins. Their starting pitcher, Eduardo Perez, I believe, Yuri Perez, was 6 innings. Actually, it was through 7. It was 21 up, 21 down.
Right.
And the Marlins decided to go to the bullpen. The pitcher had not given up a run, nor a hit, nor a walk, nor a base runner. He pitched exactly the minimum. And for those of you who are screaming, he had 92 pitches through 7 innings. And you see what happened with the final score. They were up 9-0 before this whole, or 8-0 before this whole thing started. A grand slam given up by the bullpen in the 8th inning, and then a 3-run 9th inning required Florida to score a run at the end of the game to give them the 1-run win. How are you on managers pulling guys with no hitters, with perfectos going, and then reaping what they sow?
I mean, yeah, you got to be careful with it, right? We had a little bit of a taste of that, not a perfect game opportunity, but no hitter with Parker Messick earlier in the year. And I was on the phone, talking with, our guy Chad here on the Inside Edge Network, co-host of Inside Edge Primetime. You hear him and I Monday through Friday here, 10 to 11 p.m. But, we were talking, and he mentioned a good point. You got to be careful with these guys' arms, especially when they're younger in their career. You don't want to have them have some catastrophic injury with the elbow or something, and now their career is shortened just like that. But there's
23 years old. 23 years old as a pitcher.
Right, and there's that factor, but there's also the factor of just monitor it, man. If he's not in any danger, he's done 21 up, 21 down, perfect to 7 there. Why not just see what he can get himself into? You set a hard pitch count out, like, hey, 110. At 110 you're done. Whatever it is, and just see what he can do, and let him get you to the end of the ball game. But I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think you should have gave Perez the opportunity. You don't get close to that type of thing very often. So it would have been cool to see him get that opportunity.
It sucks, but it's kind of a product of modern baseball. I'm looking at Perez's game by game here. He went 7 innings in the first week of the season, but after that, he had only one start where he actually was pitching into the 7th inning. He only had one start period. So that he was already tied for his longest outing of the year. I don't have a pitch total for that first game total here. 93 pitches, actually, same number.
Yeah.
So that seems to be kind of the cap on him. And he's thrown 100 pitches once this season. So yeah, I can understand why in modern baseball anyway. And then you're also a slave to the analytics too, where, you start getting, that, coincidentally, that was, he had 2 1/3 times through the lineup. You're getting through that, in that third part of the line, third time through the lineup, and managers get a lot scared with that. But again, that's all the reasoning for it. It sucks because, you want to let the guy have a perfect game. No hitter's one thing. Perfect game, though, is a completely different beast. You're on a list of not even 30 guys. It is one of those deals that you can walk around the rest of your life and truly, almost like a Medal of Honor, as for a baseball player, be able to hang that around your neck and kind of be that guy for a while. But it's modern baseball. They don't like these guys. Again, they protect the arms. They look at the pitch counts. They looked at, the analytics and, what the, how many times through the lineup you are, that kind of thing. So, yeah, I think it's just a product of modern baseball.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. My final point on this is if the Marlins would have blew this lead, I don't know how you come back from that. Now, I know they're not, the top of the division. I get it, but they are competing right now for a wild card spot. 49-42 now after today's victory.
They are the hottest. They actually had the best record in baseball in the month of June.
Right, exactly. They've had a great month, and that's why they're back in the hunt, Rob, and they can catch the Phillies here. They're only a game and a half back of the Phillies, 4.5 back of first place in the NL East, and my guy Chad's Atlanta Braves, but this would have been a soul-crushing loss. To pull a guy pitching a perfect game and then to lose an 8-0 lead at one point, to almost lose that would have been terrible. So good for them that they won. That would have been a terrible way to end the holiday weekend.
Yeah, and that's a bad, and we saw that with the Cavs in the playoff game just a couple of, weeks ago. It seems like, when you're a fan or you're on that team and you're just sitting here going, dude, we just need to win to save our ass. Yep. That's never a good spot to be in. And yeah, at least they got out of it with a win and you just move on with your day. And okay, we'll think about that at the end of the season. This is the main event here on the Inside Edge. And that was news and notes. Do we want to take a break or do you just want to plow into what we've learned and try to get all these happy listeners on their merry way here?
You know what, Rob? Let's do it. I'll go first if you're okay with that.
All right, that's fine. Yeah, we can handle that.
Yeah, what we learned this weekend. What did I learn? I learned that it's important to spend time with people that you haven't seen in a long time. I haven't seen a lot of my extended family on my dad's side for quite some time, and it was good to see some cousins. My aunt, it was very good to see my Aunt Vicky. I have not seen her in quite some time. She's dealing with some health things right now, and yeah, I mean, I've always had a pretty great relationship with her. She called me Bam Bam, which because I was, when I was younger, I had a cast on my hand because I was always a clumsy kid. Yeah, I was a clumsy kid though, Rob, and I would always, on the food tray, I just would boom boom, like Bam Bam from the Flintstones. So that's what my Aunt Vicky calls me. So it was good to see her. Good to see my mom, my dad, spend some time with them, and it was just important, like I said, to see some cousins, and everybody out there that I haven't seen in a while. So it's good to do that. Good, on Friday we had a great show at Brothers Lounge. It was cool to see community come together and rock out. Very proud of everybody that performed. And I guess ultimately what I learned this weekend, Rob, is that it got really hot for a minute. Then it got semi-hot for a minute. And I got to spend time with community and family that I haven't seen in a while. Got to see some cool fireworks. And I think despite, ultimately what I learned this weekend in this ramble is, despite it feeling like it's raining, whether it's physically raining, like literally like earlier today, or if it feels like it's raining in your life right now for whatever reason it may be, the sun will come out. I know it sometimes feels like, hey, dude, like it's been 10, 15 days in the rain. When's the sun, whatever. Some of you out there might be feeling like it's been a month or two in the rain. Just when the sun will come out again, lean on your support system, whether it's family, friends, if it's your faith, I'm not here to tell you what to believe in or what not to believe in, but whatever you got to lean on, do so in those times, in these times they're feeling that like right now. So that's what I learned this weekend. Just appreciate the support system and we'll get through the tough times together here. And we got friends here on the Inside Edge Network. Rob and I try to, and obviously Double A rocking with us, on the Sunday nights. The three of us and across the network try to keep you entertained with a myriad of different things. We hope we do that and we can give you a little escape for just a few hours and keep you busy all week long. That's what I learned, Rob.
Nice. what I've learned actually, and I learned it the last couple of days here, and I think I've learned that we need here to do. We need to honor our history better, and especially here in Cleveland and with baseball. I wear this hat. It's not a Boston hat. I've had people look at me and ask me why. No, this is the Brooklyn Dodgers. And even though it does itch a little bit on my bald head, I do wear it most of the time for shows. And it's for one simple reason. It's because Jackie Robinson, at least in my mind, is the most important sports figure of the 20th century, if not one of the most important Americans of the 20th century. I think what he did when he integrated baseball back in 1947 was just as important as really anything that anybody did besides guys like Abraham Lincoln, like George Washington, maybe Martin Luther King, Neil Armstrong. Those are the guys that we're talking about here. Mm-hmm. And because he did something that truly made the national pastime and this country a better place. He integrated baseball. I know we don't have to go through the story. If you don't know it, honestly, I will. I don't like to say this to listeners often, but if you don't know it, shame on you and Google it. What he did was make this country whole, or he brought it very closer to making it whole. He made the national pastime truly accessible for everybody. Everything that we have been celebrating with this World Cup, with the world coming together, no matter where you're from, what color your skin is, man or woman, what what religion, who you love. If you're a soccer fan, and if you're a fan of just a good time, you're having a great, great time with this World Cup. Togetherness. And Jackie Robinson did that in, April 15th, 1947. What also is the case, though, is that his legacy and his mythology. He is an American god at this point. He is like Hercules. He is somebody we will talk about for hundreds of years after this. The issue, and this isn't his fault, and I don't think it's a bad thing, is that light blinds us to a lot of other stories. And one of the stories that kind of blinds us to is what happened today, 79 years ago. We'll pretend it's still July 5th. Today, 79 years ago, a 23-year-old kid, black kid, ended up going and pinch hitting for the Cleveland Indians. And Larry Doby integrated the American League a few months after Jackie Robinson. Without the luxury of a minor league season in white ball, he went right from the Negro League straight to the majors. And he had to deal with the same kind of hardships that Jackie Robinson did. He had to deal with racist players, racist fans, racist umpires. And all kind of hell came down on Larry Doby. And that being said, baseball does a wonderful job, pulling out these hats every April 15th and honoring Jackie Robinson. And they need to continue to do that as long as there is Major League Baseball played in this great country of ours. We need to do it for Larry Doby, too. We need to have Larry Doby Day in Cleveland every July 5th and have baseball take part. Have baseball wear the number 14. Have baseball honor what Larry Doby did in integrating the American League. Because when he was doing that, it was not a foregone conclusion that this experiment was going to work. Jackie, if he would have misbehaved, if Larry Doby would have done something dumb to trigger the fragile ego of white America, this would have been gone as fast as it started. And if those guys didn't do what they did almost 80 years ago, 79 years ago yesterday, today, whatever you want to call it, if they didn't do that 80 years ago, I don't know where we would be as a country, where we would be as a game, where we would be just as a society in general, because there's really not too many times that you can say something that happened on a sports field was truly important. Obviously we talk about rivalries, great moments, the stuff that we get wrapped up in every week. I understand it's great. That's why we do it. But what Jackie did transcended baseball, transcended sport. And I think if you're going to acknowledge Jackie Robinson, you better acknowledge Larry Doby. And we need to have Larry Doby Day here in Cleveland every July 5th at home. Put the whole series here for the 4th. Do what we did this time around. It should be taught like Jackie Robinson. There should be movies made. There should be books written. There should be things talked about. Because as a Cleveland fan, and when I go into that media room every day, when I walk into that media entrance, I walk by the big mural with Satchel Paige, with Frank Robinson, and with Larry Doby. Mm-hmm. And that, more than any World Series, any All-Star, any whatever individual honor any team has had in this city, that mural makes me more proud than anything we've ever done. That was the city of Cleveland's contribution to helping this country pull its head out of its ass. And we're still fighting those battles. I understand we're not done yet, but we need to honor Larry Doby, and we need to make it a bigger deal, not just in Cleveland, but in every major league city.
Yeah, you said it perfectly, my bro. It's shocking that Larry Doby. Yeah, it's shocking that Larry Doby doesn't get enough appreciation. I know they honored him when I think they had the statue,
here, yeah. But, I'm not putting this on the guards at all. No, like, they do a great job here.
They do, but I think they can still do more, to your point. Larry Doby
national.
Day. Yeah, national, but Cleveland's got to maybe set the precedent for it, and maybe baseball recognizes, maybe putting the Dodgers and the Guardians, two teams that are also, if you want to talk about ratings, because, of course that always comes up, then, they're two teams that are typically pretty good. You could put them against each other, in those two games, because of their contribution. You mentioned with the Brooklyn Dodgers and, of course, the Cleveland, at the time, the Cleveland Indians, it's just I think it's something that needs to be spotlighted more. You nailed it. I think anything else I say is just going to be repeating what you said very eloquently. So we'll leave it at that.
Well, and that's what kind of pisses me off with, when the name change was happening, and, say what you want about the name change, it happened and ain't going anywhere. But when you had people who didn't know what they were talking about saying, oh, the Indians are a racist organization, the Indians are, with all due respect, shove that up your ass and learn some history behind this whole thing. Because, it's just Doby's just a part of the story for this franchise. If it is, we've honored Frank Robinson. For those of you who don't know, listening, not a baseball fan or outside the area, first black manager. In fact, actually, the first he was player manager in the first lineup he ever put himself in. He hit a home run. Satchel Paige, obviously one of the greatest Negro League pitchers of all time. And like Larry Doby, was on the roster the last time we won the goddamn World Series.
Yeah.
This team has always been, and this franchise has always been, very open-minded and very accepting. And, if you have a chance to listen to, anything Larry Doby Jr. has to say, he does a lot of interviews and has spoken on this a lot. Cleveland was the city that was by far the most welcoming to his dad, was by far the most accepting. And, he wasn't black, he wasn't white, he was an Indian, and we were going to root for him. And yeah, I'm very proud of the city. I'm very proud of the baseball team for doing that. And for, it always takes, the first couple of, teams to do the experiment before everybody else kind of becomes, normal with it. But, imagine, I still try to wrap my head around at times. Like, imagine doing this show 80 years ago and, as opposed, we have the World Cup, we have, all the news of the day, and then should black people play baseball? Like, how fucking dumb is that? And I guess that's the only bittersweet part of it is, the greatest thing, the worst thing about Jackie's debut and Larry Doby's debut was the fact that it had to happen in the first place. Like the fact that had to be a barrier that we broke. And yeah, if it's Larry Doby, Jackie Robinson, and now it's 80 years ago, I wouldn't be shocked if there's going to be a movement that says all the stats and all of the numbers produced before integration should just be kind of put next to, the 1886 batting title. And, back in an era where guys were starting 75 games a year. Like, I'm waiting for those to become obsolete now because, as great as, everyone wants to say Babe Ruth was the greatest player ever up until Shohei anyway. Babe Ruth never faced a black pitcher.
Right.
Babe Ruth never had, Ty Cobb, went out of his way to make sure he never had to face a black pitcher. As great as Kennesaw Mountain Landis was when he kind of cleaned up the Black Sox, the other part of him was he was also kind of the leading voice to make sure baseball was whites only until the early 40s. It took Happy Chandler, a new commissioner, for that to kind of become a thing. So, yeah, I mean, that it is tragic we had to wait that long, but the fact that we had to wait that long and it did happen should be celebrated in every major league city.
Agreed.
And yeah, and honestly, Dobie's number should be hanging right next to Jackie's number. I think they're that important, and that story needs to be, because, and I know I'm going on this. I hate to digress on this. I love the fact that Jackie's number is retired everywhere, because, and you can go to a Guardians game, and if you're listening enough, you can hear a conversation. 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old kid looking at dad going, "Hey, why is that number retired where there's no name underneath it?" And then that gives moms and dads and grandparents the opportunity to tell the kid about why that number's retired and about why that is so special. It is American legend. It is, that story ranks right up there with the Revolution, with the Civil War, with the Civil Rights Movement. That is the quintessential American story. And you need to let our biggest duty as old, at least mine, I got gray hair in the beard. When you start getting this gray, the biggest responsibility you have to do as a fan isn't rooting on your team. It's making sure the next generation of fans know the history and know what happened before and know why we're here. And you have to be able to tell the story of Larry Doby to get to where baseball's at right now.
Yeah, no, spot on. Yeah, we need to do a better job of baseball, and we talk all the time with baseball and just honoring the history, and this is a very big part of history. The game would not look like the game right now if not for guys like Jackie Robinson, Larry Doby, some of the other guys you mentioned. It's important. It's important, pal. I agree.
And what I also and I hate to kind of keep going on this for half a second, but I was listening to an interview with Larry Doby Jr. And what you also have to remember too in these stories, Ty Cobb later in life became a little bit more accepting of what was happening and understood the world was changing around him and understood that he was growing up. He was from a different time. And one of the players actually that was hell on Jackie Robinson was Eno Slaughter. He was a member of the Gas House Gang, St. Louis Cardinals back in the 30s and 40s. And yeah, he's Southern, racist son of a bitch. And he would be the one that would spike Jackie at first base, coming across. And, time keeps passes, whatever happens. He gets the head coaching gig over at Duke, baseball team. Mm-hmm. And one of the players that shows up he's on scholarship, Larry Doby Jr. It was Larry Doby's kid. And, he was telling the story firsthand, and he said straight up, he goes, "No, I mean, I knew all the history behind it, but, Slaughter gave me my fair shake. He was a great coach. I had a relationship with him until he died. He was friends with my dad. They busted each other's balls. For as much of the racism that was there." And the reason why I bring that up is because I always use Slaughter as kind of an example as the racist son of a bitch in baseball. At the time, we also have to point out the idea that guys can change and people can look and see things a new way, in a different way, in a better way. I've seen interviews with Red Barber, who was ready to quit the Dodgers when Jackie got the gig there. And, then he said it firsthand. He goes, "Then I got to know the man. Then I got to see the man play. I got to see how the man handled adversity and how he handled the hell that he was going through. And I couldn't help but not respect him. I couldn't help but honor the man. And I changed my mind." And I think with every one of those stories like Jackie or Larry Doby or any of these kind of changing of the thinking stories, we have to recognize the people who were smart enough and self-aware enough and just a good enough person to change with the times and understand that maybe, okay, I might have seen it this way for 50 years. I might have to change things up now.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, no more words, Rozycki.
All right.
Crazy times we live in now. And it's crazy that we're still having debates about some of this, not to the extreme level I'd say to this, but it's still sad that we still have to have debates about just people loving people, man. I don't know why it's so difficult nowadays, but people just need to love people.
Oh. And to leave with you guys, too, we do have some breaking NBA news. This is according to Shams.
Come on. No way.
We still have no idea where LeBron's going to go. So.
Oh, no.
See, I faked you out there. You're going to have to keep listening to the Inside Edge Net if you're going to want to get the coverage on where the fuck LeBron James is going to go. We think it should be happening in the next couple of days. But yes, if it does happen, rest assured, there will be numerous people with the Inside Edge Net diving towards a phone, diving towards a webcam, and we'll be with you the very second we possibly can be. We'll keep an eye on LeBron. Obviously, we'll keep an eye on what's happening with the Cleveland Guardians. They're wrapping up to the All-Star break. We'll see if the Cleveland Browns do anything stupid between now and next Saturday, Sunday.
Or smart, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, well, it's the off season, so yeah, there is room for potential here. Eli, you have a wonderful vacation. I believe you're what joining Victor Wembanyama and studying with the monks of northern Manchuria right now. That is is that correct?
Not correct, but I will be vacationing soon. I will be, so Double A is going to miss at least the next few days, taking care of, like I said, we mentioned some family things. So I'll be in this week, Rozycki.
See, I think that's all BS. I think he was really at the wedding because he wasn't on air Friday.
Yeah.
Where was he at? And I'm sure if he was at the wedding, he had to sign an NDA, and Lord knows that little bastard does not have the money to pay out an NDA. So, I mean, is this all a cover story? Is he out there? Is that why he's afraid to talk about the Taylor Swift thing? Because Taylor's about ready to just punch him in the face if he does?
Oh, no. Poor Double A. All I know is he'll be out the next few days. He'll be back potentially later this week. We're trying to, he may take the week off. We'll keep you updated on Double A, but expect him to be out Monday and Tuesday at least. So I'll be here with you this week. Inside Edge Network. Unfiltered is off this week. Look out for replays. We'll have a bunch of the programming throughout the week. But the evening block, we'll have Inside Edge Primetime. The regular crew, Chad, Brian, and I will get into some different discussion about a whole myriad of sports topics and everything else that crosses our minds throughout the day. We'll have Daily Spiral with Autumn Chisholm, and she'll be joined with myself tomorrow. And then Tuesday, myself as well. So I got double duty with Autumn, and then we'll see what the rest of the week looks like. Midnight Run, keep an eye on that with Double A out the next few days. We may have some special surprises for you for Midnight Run this week. And then, of course, when Double A is back, he'll resume Midnight Run and his Daily Spiral duties. And we're excited to get him back in the fold once he, like I said, takes care of what he's got to take care of. So, yeah, bro, busy week. But then the following week, vacation. I want to try to get a tan.
Yeah, I said have a great run on vacation, and I got a 45-minute monologue of everything we are doing. Wow, we are busy as shit here at the Inside Edge Net. But yes, yeah. Thank you to Double A. If you are still wandering around Lower Manhattan, get back soon. We miss you. And yes, if any homeless guy asks you for money, just run in the opposite direction. Yeah. But yes, sum everything up here real quick. Yes, remember, England did beat Mexico today 3-2. Guardians got 3 All-Stars beyond all sorts of common sense. Here we are. And Team USA in action with their best player, with Flo Balogun. Will be in there. Donald Trump made a call, and we got the decision reversed. But yes, keep an eye on what LeBron's going to be doing. The World Cup's going to be in action. The U.S. State's in action tomorrow. And every step of the way, we will be with you on the Inside Edge Net, except when we're on vacation. And in the case of Kyle Cornell, that's this week. In the case of Moon, that's next week. And I don't know. I'll be asking to time off, I'm sure. But yes, for everybody here at the main event, we got Eli Moon. I am Rob Rozycki for Double A in absentia. This is the main event on the Inside Edge Net. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.